Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Look Forward. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Brad.
It's been a long fucking year.
It's been 84
so far.
years. 84. Look, we are just now 6 days into the year. We are unfortunately under GOP control now. Everything should be great now, right? Like prices are coming down.
That's what I'm told. That's what I'm told. It's gonna be fantastic. All the exporting countries are gonna pay for the tariffs, and I just, it's not a story, but I just saw it scrolling on Reddit. Apparently, Donald Trump, a guy who literally 4 years ago today was at least tangentially involved in a coup to overthrow the U.S. government and remain in power. Said that the Biden administration is making the transition as hard as it possibly can be for them right now.
The irony, dude. Like the fucking irony. Like, meanwhile, a woman was shot in the head or shot in the neck 4 years ago wearing a flag with your name on it because the election was stolen. Okay. It's amazing how they didn't steal the next one. What a weird thing for Democrats to not do.
Yeah.
Or at least, take over all of Congress to then let you be president, but then embarrass you. Like, it's amazing how they just decided not to do it again with the same people involved. Crazy. But I guess they were like, well, America's watching now. Okay. Okay. Spoiler alert. No, they're not. Okay. They're actually
yeah, I'm about to say, if we've learned anything in the past several months is that the body politic is asleep at the wheel. Let's
it's a fucking zombie. Okay, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So there is plenty to talk about. Obviously, this is our first day back in the new year. Look, you're about to have a hard 4 years. Minimum. Okay? Minimum. We'll see what happens after that. But minimum, it's going to be a rough 4 years. So fucking strap in. We will be here. In the words of Nature Boy, Ric Flair, we're going to be more obnoxious. So look for that. We will not be holding back on anything. So we normally do a big topic, which is a big chunk of things, and then we get into news you need. This week, because we've been off for 2 weeks, we're just doing what I refer to as quick happenings. Right? We're not going to go super deep into any of these stories, but we are going to kind of go through a lot of shit happened in the last 2 weeks. A lot, a ridiculous amount of things. And if you're saying, hey, you forgot about X story, you're right. We did. Everyone did, because there's so many fucking stories. First off, Luigi Mangione, obviously the son of Chuck Mangione, charged with terrorism for allegedly shooting the CEO of United Healthcare. Allegedly, because he just hasn't been found guilty, but he's definite.
So
by the way, he pleaded innocent. He was prove it. Which is
I would too if I were him. Seeing public sentiment around that. Okay, so terrorism, obviously the deliberate, committing a crime deliberately to spread fear and and terror. Literally, it's in there. But the only people that are scared of what Luigi Mangione did are C-suite people. So this doesn't really it's like if they fucking charged him with a hate crime. Who was the protected group that he committed the crime against? Executives,
rich people,
not a protected class.
Yet. New York is quite literally. Didn't the governor of New York she's proposing this hotline for CEOs to call?
Oh, it happened. Yeah, it already. I think it already happened. She said I did a big Zoom session with all these CEOs to assuage their fears that it's open season on CEOs, and I'm just me, middle class white man here. I'm not worried about getting shot by a Luigi Mangione copycat, because I'm not making people's lives fucking miserable for profit every day.
Now here's the thing. Do I think that Luigi Mangione should have probably been charged with terrorism? Yeah, I guess. Let me rephrase that.
I really don't think so.
No,
I think
but
this is just a garden variety.
No, but
premeditated murder.
let me rephrase that. No, I don't. But I don't think it's actually garden variety. I don't care, but I don't think it's garden variety. Let me just stipulate. I don't give a shit. Not that I think he should be charged with terrorism. Do I think it makes sense that they would charge him with terrorism? Right? Like, let me say it that way. Mm-hmm. Yes, I think it makes sense. Because you are quite literally trying to stoke fear they're not a protected class. But stoke fear, like it's political messaging, right? Like you are using the idea of like, we're going to kill you because you're doing something that we deem is wrong against this group of people, right? Like it is terrorism, by that definition, 100%. Again, I don't care. But here's the rub. And this is, to me, where I have a problem with him actually being charged terrorism. People like Dylan Roof were not charged for terrorism. Mm-hmm. And Dylan Roof, very specifically, and all these other white supremacists who have killed people of color and stuff like that, or gay folks and stuff like that, the ones who have lived have not been labeled as terrorists. And they are very specifically killing people for the fear of, if you are black in America, we're going to kill you. If you are gay in America, we're going to kill you. We are trying to run you people out to make an ethno state and all this other stuff. That to me is also terrorism. And the fact that those things are not addressed.
To play devil's advocate on that, I mean, I think unless I'm mistaken, they did charge him with like a hate crime modifier with all of his charges, which I mean, severely ups the penalty. I don't know, man. Like this just feels like it has been really tragically funny to see that to the extent that politicos have like rallied the troops, for lack of a better metaphor, behind like prosecuting this dude. Which, and again, like I'm not saying don't prosecute a guy that committed a fucking cold-blooded murder like in the middle of the fucking sidewalk,
no, of course not.
At 7 a.m. Like obviously, yeah, you should do that. But like the point, like everyone's like fucking desire to be like, we're going to send a fucking message with this prosecution, completely ignoring the reason that the murder happened in the first place and saying, I can understand why this guy felt the way he did given the circumstances. Like, and maybe we should look at the healthcare industry. No. We can't just have CEOs fucking getting capped on the middle of the fucking street here. Like, absolutely not. Like, we have to fucking throw the book at this dude and make it and deter anyone. And again, you're not going to fucking deter shit. Like that's always the excuse given for the fucking death penalty. Like, oh, it'll deter people from killing. People still commit murders every fucking day. Like, if you're going to fucking kill somebody, you're going to fucking kill somebody. That's just kind of how that fucking goes.
I mean, so. but here's the thing. And I think this is a thing that they're not thinking about. By charging him with terrorism, and again, I'm not shocked that you're doing that. Like it does, like from a logistics standpoint, it makes total sense, right? As you're trying to prosecute this case. And again, to your point, like they're really trying to make an example out of him. Again, understandably from their perspective. Mm-hmm. The problem is if he is found guilty, he will be. Okay, like let's get real. Will the jury do something about that? That's a totally different fucking question. But when he is likely found guilty, the question is, when you label him as a terrorist, when you try to make an example out of him, all you're doing is you're adding more reasons for people to go, that dude is a martyr, and I'm going to do the next one in his name. That's all you're doing. Right. Like you're
raising his profile.
Right. You're lionizing this guy to people who think what he did was awesome. And so they're going to be like, oh shit, this dude was labeled as terrorist, blah, 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 but he was he was a hero and all this other shit. And then they're going to be like, all right, I'm going to go do one too. I mean, like, it's the same with school shootings. It's the reason why a lot of psychologists and stuff like that are like, don't say the name of the fucking school shooter. Don't show their picture. Don't talk about them. Talk about their victims.
That's what they want.
Because they want their name out there. And when you do that, because the news is such a thirsty bitch, like, they know that once they put that name out there, everybody's gonna be talking about it. They're gonna be watching their footage and all this other stuff. But somebody watches that and they just get inspired. And they go, oh, well, they'll get inspired anyway. Yeah, but when you're focused way more on the killer versus the people who get killed, those people are the ones that everybody sees, and that shit seeps into people's brains, especially people who are not mentally well. So, yeah. Okay. I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend the terrorist charge. Again, I understand their thought process, but I wouldn't recommend it. I think that's going to blow up in your face. Like no pun intended, right? Like I just I don't think that's going to work out well for you. So yeah, there you go. Next up, 2 acts of terrorism, real terrorism.
Yeah, actual terrorism.
Actual fucking terrorists.
Yeah.
2 acts of terrorism happened on New Year's Day. Good way to start the fucking year off. The first guy, his wife was leaving him or left him, and he decided to blow himself up in a Cybertruck. Which is maybe the saddest
in front of the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas.
Right. One of the saddest sentences I've ever heard. I'm going to blow myself up in a Cybertruck. Wow. So, I mean, you killed yourself, which is sad, I guess. But you destroyed a truck that's a Tesla truck. All right. I mean, as you know, penalties offset, first down. Like, whatever. But yeah, that one happened. And then the guy in New Orleans drove his truck and killed, I believe, 12 or 15 people on Bourbon Street. And he was, they were both Army vets, former Army vets, which is, they're both saying both guys acted alone. The guy in New Orleans apparently had an ISIS flag on his truck.
He said, according to him, he had been, after he left the U.S. military, he had basically been radicalized by the mission of ISIS, essentially, but he wasn't like an ISIS member. Like ISIS has not come out and claimed, like, oh yes, we are responsible as an organization for this attack. Like this dude, I think, was an ISIS wannabe, sympathizer, essentially. Yeah.
So yeah, that's not a good start to the year. Obviously, what is curious is the Republican response to this, especially. Oh yeah, 100%. The New Orleans thing, they're like, this is a border problem. Look at this guy. Look at that brown face and all. Yeah,
just because the guy was of Middle Eastern descent, had a traditionally Middle Eastern name. All they did was immediately, first thing they did, saw it. Oh, he must have come from across the Mexican border. The Biden administration is letting terrorists in, and the dude turns out was born and raised in Houston, served in the U.S. military. Like was American as apple fucking pie.
Yeah,
of course.
So
and yet, despite those facts coming out, like Tom Homan was interviewed about this, and even though the facts at that point had been out, like this dude was an American citizen, born and raised, like was in the army, blah 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 blah. Tom Homan's still blaming the open borders for this attack happening, and like the host asked him, like, well, what are you doing to support this? And his literal response is, it's just a gut feeling that I have. This is the guy that's about to run fucking not Homeland Security, but like border control. Yeah, for the next fucking 4 years. And he just like, when presented with all these facts, like, I don't know, gotta trust your gut, man. Like, it's never let me down before. Fuck your facts. I got a feeling.
I saw someone say something like equally ridiculous the other day. They were like, I always trust my gut. Like, your gut's right 99% of the time. I was like, that's not true at all. Like, what are you talking about? Like, they're like, oh, I got a feeling it's got to be true. It don't got to be true. Like that.
Yeah, the dude's taking the fucking mindset behind taking like a multiple choice test in high school to like life lessons, essentially. Yeah, the answer, the first thing that pops into your mind is probably the correct answer. Like, not necessarily once you get out of having 4 set options in front of you. So.
Yeah, like, yeah, bro, this is not a true false test. Like, get the fuck out of here. Dullard.
And I found it also very odd. So again, the guy in New Orleans, demonized, rightfully so, but demonized because of his ancestry. The dude in Las Vegas, because he was a 30-something-year-old white active military service person, immediately, as soon as that fucking fact came out and people started to learn more about it, acted alone, misunderstood, dealing with a lot of shit, like the basic white boy, white terrorist playbook. Media coverage was in full effect. In fact, many right wingers were more focused on the vehicle of choice that he used. Elon Musk was like, if you want to commit a huge like a huge explosion, like Cybertruck was the worst thing you could have fucking done. because its tank-like exterior will keep the blast from exploding very much.
What a very weird argument.
Oh, trust me, when it comes to Elon Musk being weird, stay tuned, premium members, for the end of the show.
You know what? Look, I would agree with you, but I'm going to push back just a little bit here. This episode, this is free for everybody.
Oh, good. Fantastic. Stick around to the end, everybody.
Yeah. We're going to go in because your boy is in a fucking K-hole, and I'm not sure he knows how to get out. And you know what? You should keep doing ketamine, Elon Musk. Do it until your heart explodes. Please, by all means.
Please. Up your dosage. Whatever you're doing, do more of it.
Yeah, like you're fucking nailing it, bro. Look, as someone I saw on Reddit, they were like, they need to let Matthew Perry's doctor out of jail so he can help Elon Musk. It's like, Jesus Christ. That's dark. It's funny, but it's dark. Because fuck Elon Musk. Who cares? And like I said in our personal chat, I would beat Elon Musk to death with his own arm. I don't like that dude. He is the worst. So Joe Biden decided to remove everyone. He commuted all the death row sentences, minus a few of them, Dylan Roof being one of them. He was like, nah, son, you stay where you are. Fuck out of here.
Yeah, it was him, the Boston Marathon bomber, and the Christchurch. No, that was in New Zealand. I can't remember who the other guy was, but it was another like super specific like racial terrorist guy. Yeah.
Joe Biden was like, look, I'm gonna let these guys off death row, like everybody. He just like goes in his cell. Not you, and not you.
I will say I was a little shocked that the reaction from the right was basically like non-existent. Like they didn't really make a huge fucking stink about this.
They didn't. That's true. I think maybe they're too. Well, you know what? I do know why. They were in the middle of their civil war at that time, weren't they?
That's true. That's true.
So I feel like they were a little, and we'll talk about that. They were a little bit more hard focused on like, wait a minute, you're cool with immigrants now? Whoa. Hold on a second. Hold on. Indians? No, absolutely not.
You sold us a bill of false goods.
Oh my God. Oh, what a wonderful time to be alive. Like just watch that happen. You're like,
it was a fun couple of days, but we'll get there. But again, I think we talked about this in our last episode before we went on break, that this was a possibility. Yeah. Again, this is a across the board good thing. Obviously, these people don't deserve to fucking see the light of day again, I'm sure. They all are going to spend the rest of their lives in prison. But again, like if you don't believe in the death penalty, you don't believe in capital punishment, which Joe Biden does not. He says it runs counter to his faith as a Catholic. Then this is putting your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, I got zero issues with it. I'm glad that they. By the way, it was 30. There were 37 that were taken off death row. And again, they're not letting them out of jail, right? I'm sure everybody who's listening to this is smart enough to understand that. They're not letting them out of jail. They're just in jail with life sentences, no parole, right? So it's not like, oh, well, they could get parole tomorrow and they're back in the street. No, they are there to the day they die. But they're just not going to spend federal dollars to kill them, which I think is just ridiculous. And it also, as you mentioned earlier, like I don't think the death penalty is a deterrent for anything. Like it's not. I used to be fine with the death penalty until I realized like, oh, like people are being killed with the death penalty who didn't necessarily do it. They come to find out.
Yeah,
later.
that's. I mean, and again, I think I said on the show before. Like, I don't have a fundamental opposition with the idea of capital punishment. I just think that it's nearly impossible for us to apply it even-handedly in the society that we currently occupy.
Oh, that's 100% clear. I mean, right. I mean, Texas can't stop killing people who have like mental illness. They're like, oh, this person's mentally ill. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Let's kill him. It's like, that's probably not the way to handle those things. Like, just seems cruel and unusual. So yeah, interestingly enough, today, 2 of the death row inmates that Biden, commuted their death row sentences have rejected Biden's commutation. And so they are like, no, put us back on death row because they are of the argument, Shannon Agofsky and Len Davis, they are of the argument that them not being on death row harms their, like they say they're innocent, and they're basically saying by them being commuted, it harms their case to try to be freed, right?
Right.
Look, on the surface, 100% understand. 100% understand that argument. But I think context really fucking matters here. And you are 14 days from living in a pure hellscape. I wouldn't take the risk of my own life. I would rather be assured that I'm going to be alive and still fight for my case through the Innocence Project or whatever, however you're doing that. Safe and sound and not being killed. Then on death row with a guy who says he is absolutely fucking gung-ho to kill everybody who's on death row. That feels like a fucking mistake to me. You got 14 days, dude. Can you get your case done in 14 days? I don't fucking think...
They obviously know they're not going to.
This is crazy. This is this is a hard lesson not worth learning. Fuck that.
I mean, it's up to them. I got to tell you, if faced, and again, I'm saying this as someone who has not spent even a single minute in a jail cell, much less the rest of my natural born life. But if give me the option between like life in prison, where like I know that's where I'm going to be every day, or death. I don't know. I don't know if I want to spend the rest of my fucking life in prison. If I'm being honest with you. But that's just me.
Okay. I hear you on that. I do. Like you got family. Like you have a kid, you got a wife. They're like, hey, we know you didn't, we know you're not the Baltimore Strangler. And they
look, I guess it would be different if I was still trying to fight my innocence. Like if I was like, yeah, I did that shit, then Yeah, okay. Yeah, but like if you did it, but personally you did it, but like you're still fighting to think like maybe you could get out, then okay, like I guess. But like if you did it, I'm like, I did do it. Like I'll just sit here. Like fuck that. Yeah. Like I'll try to get out, but like I'm not gonna work that hard about it. But nah, man. Like I get it, but I don't think them having their death sentences commuted, I don't think that does that much damage to their case. It only does because death penalty appeals have a lot more scrutiny applied to them just because the consequences of fucking it up are irreversible. So like I guess that's their legal counsel's gambit is they're just like, hey, like you get a lot your appeals are gonna be looked at a lot harder if you have this hanging over your head than if you just have a life in prison, because they know you're not fucking going anywhere if you're in jail.
Yeah, okay, that's a fair point. Yeah, but again, in 14 days,
it's a roll of the dice with literally your life on the line. So I understand where you're coming from as well.
Yeah, like, dude, it's 2 weeks. Like, what if he came in on day one was like, Biden, let those other guys go. The other,
well, he can't. I mean, he can't just do that. There's due process to
nah, so. He was just like, "We're done." Like, no, but again, dictator on day one. Who is going to stop him if he says, "Hey, I want these 5 people executed within the next week or next month?"
I'm pretty sure even this Supreme Court is not going to be like, we're just going to suspend due process rights for death row. Like the Supreme Court is totally okay with killing a wide swath of people, but they at least want you to exhaust your appeals first before
okay.
Before they put the
okay. So. Look, you and I are going to be here's my thought over the next year of what happens to the next year or 2 years, right before the midterm election. Brad and I are going to be at loggerheads on a number of things, and then about a month into this, where we're like, yeah, all right, one way or the other. I'm not saying who's right, who's wrong.
Yeah.
One way or the other, we're going to be like, you know what? You're right. Like all of this terrible shit is going to happen.
I'm already going through that existential crisis as is, because like most people who've been listening to the shows for a long time that are in the Discord, like they know Johnny, friend of the show, Johnny Chief in the Discord, and I love Johnny, But man, like whenever he doesn't talk often in the Look Forward Discord, but when he does, it's always like the most pessimistic shit.
Oh yeah,
and I'm like, man, Johnny's such a political pessimist. But then I've been realizing that like every time he comes in and is like pessimistic, I'm like, but he's always right. Why is life like this? Yeah. I don't want to be a pessimist. I want to be a realist.
Yeah. I mean, apparently for the next 4 years, realism and pessimism, 2 overlapping circles. Or just 1 overlapping circle. Like it's a sad truth, but I just don't. He hasn't talked much about this whole like dictator since on day 1 thing. And I think that's for good reason. And I think that there is bad for everyone, but good for him. I think he's going to start just being like, no, we're doing that. And I don't think he's going to get that much resistance. And that's my fear, is that he could easily, like, okay, if you want to win, like, you've fucked over black people who've supported you already. Like, you've already fucked them over. You've put no black people in your cabinet except for the HUD guy. The HUD guy because of Urban. Like, white people, yeah. You're not even that clever. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, come on. It's ridiculous. So you've already pretty much fucked over every black person who supported you, like on a national level. You don't give a shit about black people that voted for you. I mean, you don't care about even fucking white people who voted for you, if we're being honest. All of that being said, he could pull in those black people who are like, fuck this guy, I regret my vote. If he was like, hey, by the way, not a big deal. I executed Dylan Roof for killing those black people. Boom. And they're like, oh shit, he's not fucking around. And those black people who are MAGA supporters would be like, see, this guy's fucking tough and black people should support him. And they'd be right back in. Like, I could totally see him pushing for that. And is like, does he need to execute these people or trying to push to execute? No, he got a million other things to fuck up. But I could totally see him saying,
I'm just saying, I'm not sure what he could do to be like, we're just pushing through their right to appeal. And we're just going to go right to the fucking execution stage. Like the people that he executed before he left the first time were people who had exhausted their appeals, and the DOJ was just dragging their feet to actually like perform the execution. Yeah.
All right. Now I'm just saying, you got plenty of judges who are in his pocket and all this other shit. Let's hope that Democratic minded, small D Democrat, Democratic-minded judges are willing to gum up the works, not just for this, but for many things, so that this guy can't just do what he wants. But I think there are enough sort of conservative-minded or sort of MAGA-minded, I shouldn't even say conservative, but MAGA-minded judges that would be like, hell yeah, man, let's get rid of these people and like speed these cases through if they can and stuff like that. I could totally see it. I mean, the problem is we don't know what the capabilities of these, like, what is the moral capabilities of these people? Because he's not going to be able to do all of this shit by himself and be like, I declare it and it's going to happen. Like, he could try that, but he would face more.
Well, no, it would have to be his DOJ trying to accelerate stuff. Like, that would be the only way that would be
and judges
possible. But again, like, even that takes time though. Like the judicial system is fucking slow. Like, it's slow as shit.
It was.
So, and again, the appeals court that he would have to deal with before it potentially would get to a SCOTUS is the DC appeals court for these cases, because they're all federal prisoners, and those judges are not like in Trump's pocket, fucking conservatives. Like, they're mostly liberal.
So here's hoping, and this is the thing: will these sort of things, will these walls stay as this like rush of bullshit hits them constantly over and over and over again? I don't know. So. Again, I think we will be at loggerheads.
I just don't think that this is going to be. I just don't think that this specific issue is going to be one that he's going to care about, because who's it's going to motivate. You know what I mean? Who's going to get excited?
Well, look, if not now, right before the midterms. If not now, right before the midterms.
Maybe I don't know, man. Like, again, I don't want to get bogged down because I know we're trying to do the quicker stories here, but it's just like he's term limited out. I don't really think he's going to have the energy to be like, oh, I'm going to make me the king. No. You know what I mean?
Nah.
I truly
he's think
die.
I think he dies within 4 years. I hope so. I mean, look, whisper of a dream, right, as Marcus Aurelius would say. But I don't think
what I'm seeing though is that all of I truly believe that all of the efforts of him and the people around him are going to be using the next 4 years to just enrich themselves and to grift the people as much as possible, and anything else around that is just going to kind of fall to the wayside. Like, you think these people are interested in the actual act of governance? Come on.
Probably not.
maybe, like I said, maybe around immigration, just because that's being motivated by racism. But like, in terms of like actually like passing laws, and I don't give a shit about that. Like, they like, I mean, aside from like taxes and shit like that, I mean, that's all they care about.
Okay, here's my thought on, are they actually going to do anything, right? Because in the first 4 years of the Trump administration, they largely didn't. Don't get me wrong. They're gonna do some like they're gonna do some repugnant shit. Like you're gonna get his fucking dumb tax cuts extended. You're gonna get just a butt fuck ton of deregulation across the board, because that helps their donors, because it makes it easier for them to do business. You're gonna see, you know, the fucking FCC and FTC are basically gonna like not do jack shit to you know, police anything. We'll talk about net neutrality later in the episode. So like, that stuff's gonna be really bad. But as far as like actually passing like public policy that's not financially motivated or motivated by racism, I don't think they're gonna have the fucking energy for that shit. No, look, I agree with you. But I think when it comes, okay, one of the dumbest things, and we're going to move on real fast here, but one of the dumbest things that people who like black MAGA people point to, and like sort of young MAGA people point to, in the first 4 years was, Donald Trump, you know, pardoned Kodak Black and some other fucking rappers, right? Like, those things are stupid bullshit. Like, they're dumb bullshit. But it helped ingratiate him to those people who don't pay attention.
But he was also running for re-election.
Yeah,
4 years ago.
Yeah, that's true. He's not
going to be doing that this time.
That's true. Now, but he is going to need a Congress. If he's not going to decide, I'm just going to be a dictator and do whatever the fuck I want, he is going to still need a Congress in 2 years. Like, so I could totally see him trying to ingratiate. I'm dead serious. I hate to say that, because I think it's fucked up. And those 9 black churchgoers in South Carolina don't deserve to be used like this. But I could totally see him, you know, supporting and pushing for Dylann Roof to be executed. And like, white supremacists will hate it, but he's going to use that as a way to pull in these dumb black people who already supported him. And they're going to be like, but Joe Biden wouldn't do it. And it's like, yeah, but Joe Biden doesn't want to execute anybody. Like, they're like, yeah, but that
also Joe Biden said, no, you can still kill that guy. Like, even though,
like, he's there for a reason, right? So yeah, I could totally see him doing that. Like, he's really good at garnering support on the dumb shit, but he doesn't want to do the work on the heavy shit. So like, I agree and disagree with you, right, at the same time. So we'll see. I hope that their massive incompetence and general laziness stops them from doing a lot of things. I hope so. That would be great.
Yeah.
Next up, Oklahoma does something I think is really newsworthy. I didn't see a lot of people talking about this. Oklahoma decides to force poor kids into military service. Jay, that's not true. That you're making.
Is Oklahoma like going out of their fucking way to like be the worst state
they're working
in America?
They're trying.
They're working really hard on it, between the fucking Trump Bible shit and
that was good.
All that stuff, and then like, I fucking saw this stuff.
Yeah, this is nuts.
Just like,
so
this is insane.
So this is a new Oklahoma law, right? Not a bill. This is a law now.
Well, for now, till it gets challenged, but
this should absolutely get knocked down. So the idea is, if you're a high school student, they will not grant you your high school diploma unless you've been accepted into a college, a trade school, and if neither one of those, have signed up for the military. So by their logic, you can't have a gap year as a high school student, take a gap year and then go off to college. No, you have to be enrolled in a college, a trade school.
You don't have to go to college. get to go to the military.
We'll go to the military. Not a big deal.
Enjoy your gap year at fucking Paris Island.
It's hot here. Oh well, get to marching, motherfucker. You're taking a 4 gap years, like right in a row.
Right.
And by the way, you're going to fucking Fallujah. Great, thanks. This is gross. This is a thing to turn poor kids in and just throw them into the meat grinder of the military. I think this is fucked up. Yep. But I was told that the Republican Party was the party of personal freedom. Is this not? Is it not anymore?
Well, you have the freedom to, go to a college you can't afford or a trade school that you can't afford if you don't want to join the military.
I mean, bro, like, have you seen those Marine commercials? They're awesome. You're going.
Yeah. Again, like
it's insane.
We have a voluntary armed forces in this country. It is quite illegal unless there's a draft enacted to force people into military service. So I can't imagine how this could possibly withstand legal scrutiny. But hey, I'm always willing to be surprised in this new exciting day and age. That
when I read this headline, I was like, this is not a real thing. Like, that's fake. No, this is real. Like, this is like, what was the thought process besides how do we fuck over poor people? Right? Because
the problem is that they're not thinking. I don't even think it got as far as like, hey, we want to fuck over poor people. I don't even think they made it to that level of scrutiny. I think it honestly was just like, hey, like we got to get people who go to college. And again, the trade school part, look, I think that's a very noble endeavor. I think that we should probably focus more on trade schools. Perhaps you as the government could do more to assist kids who either don't want to go to college or who might not be able to afford going to college to be able to afford learning a trade. I think that would be a great fucking idea and helping them out. But of course, that's not what they're doing here. They're just saying, no, you have to figure this shit out on your own.
Yeah, like, and also, like I mentioned, there's no ability to take a gap year. Like, that's dumb. Some kids need a gap year for maturity reasons. Some kids got to help out at home. There's a number of reasons. Like, you're trying to figure your life out, right? Like, I 100% probably should have taken a gap year after high school.
I mean, I kind of ended up doing that. I mean, I did one semester of college before I was like, man, I just really don't want to be at school right now. And then fucking left.
I mean, Brad, they kicked you out as well, but you're like, you can't fire me. I quit. Like, I'm out. With a beer in your hand at 7:30 in the morning. But like, so that's stupid. The other part of this is also incredibly gross, is that at the same time that they are doing this, they're promoting on the national level to get rid of the Department of Education, which one of the primary things the Department of Education does is Pell Grants and college, financial assistance. Well, if that goes away, then who are the people who can afford college and these trade schools? Oh, right. You're just shuttling all these kids into the military, right? Again, this is not going to stand. This is fucking dumb. You can't force people to do something outside of high school. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, we're not going to give you your high school diploma. Yeah, you are. Like, you are. That's bullshit. You have to come and rip it out of your fucking hand. Yeah, you are. That's stupid as shit. But yeah, it's just an attempt to make poor kids go into the military. And look, if you want to make an argument about conscription, then make that argument. You want to do conscription and you want to say this needs to be a national thing, that you support the military and makes you fucking gung-ho for America, whatever, then make that argument. Stop pussyfooting around and trying to force kids into it through this other like bullshit means. Just make the argument and let the chips fall where they may. I think they know, just like anybody.
100%. Absolutely.
Like anybody using their brain, you take that shit to the ballot, you're about to get your ass fucking destroyed because people are like, I'm not going into the fucking military. Get the fuck out of here. Like, no, we're not putting our kids into that shit. Look, I personally don't think conscription is a fucking cool idea. I don't like that idea. I don't like it anywhere. I think it's fucked up. But at the same time, like this isn't what is it? What the fuck is that movie? Where they fight the bugs on Clondalkin. It's Starship Troopers, right? Like, like you don't have to earn your citizenship by like going to war. It's fucking bullshit. You shouldn't have to do that. Like, you shouldn't have to earn your high school diploma for your basic education
Right.
because they're forcing you into holding a gun. Like that's
and I mean, look, the military has already been massively successful bribing poor kids to enlist with the GI Bill, like 1,000%.
Right, and or just the under the auspices of you get to travel the world and kill people, and like and look, let's get real. A lot of poor kids don't have any options, and the military is a good option for them. They can get out, they can actually learn a skill, a quite profitable skill, and everything else, and go on to live great lives. And a lot of people have done that. But that should be their choice. It should not be something that you are forced to do. There's absolutely nothing wrong with choosing the military, but the point here is choice. But I shouldn't be surprised from the anti-choice party that they are more than okay telling children where they can end up. So, shocking news. Next up, Biden signs the Social Security Fairness Act, which is pretty good. This increases the benefits to 2.1 million beneficiaries, which is pretty dope. Look, across the political spectrum, a lot of people were just like, yeah, no, this is great. It actually cut two of these like weird provisions in Social Security that from reading this I didn't quite understand, but on average, people are receiving $360 more a month from Social Security. Mm-hmm. That's pretty fucking great, man. Especially if you're a grandma eating fucking cat food. That's fucking dope. And look, I'm sure there are going to be people who get even more than that, maybe a little bit less than that, but 360 in your increase in benefits is pretty goddamn good. I await people to say, hey, my Social Security benefits went up, and thanks, Trump. Because people don't pay attention, they don't know what the fuck's going on, and Trump will fucking try to take credit for this. I guarantee you.
I'm a bit more nuanced on this take. I'm actually
you hate old people. I know.
Well, I do. But I'm actually not a huge fan of this legislation necessarily because
why is it?
It specifically is aiding people who have government pensions to be able to get an increase their Social Security benefit. I don't know if you guys know this. The government pension, if you retire like from like a teaching job or police, firefighter, that kind of shit, it's pretty fucking good.
Yeah. So,
it's not like you're scraping by in most cases.
Right. So my understanding is, and correct me if I'm wrong, my understanding is if you're getting a government pension and you were also getting Social Security, like your Social Security automatically gets lowered because you already are getting this government pension. And now basically it takes that cap off. Is that my understanding? Is that correct?
Yeah, but the thing is that they also, because they're paying into their pension, they pay less in Social Security than most people usually do, or at least that's my understanding of how it works. And this is coming from someone whose father retired and is getting a government pension, whose father-in-law retires getting a government pension. Like I'm pretty aware of this shit. So like, I mean, bully for them, like that's fucking fantastic and all. But if this, makes it harder for my generation to get my Social Security that I've been paying into for all these years, then it's not necessarily.
And there it is, Brad hating on the olds because I'm gonna starve when I'm older. It's not fair. What an asshole. Jesus Christ, Brad. Think of the olds, Brad. One day,
I really try not to as much as I possibly can, but yet I'm forced to all the time.
Look,
because I pay attention to the news.
All I'll say is this: two octogenarians have fallen. 2 members of Congress have fallen, and I haven't seen Brad in 2 weeks. In the last 2 weeks, 2 octogenarians in Congress have fallen down, and I haven't seen Brad. So
I could and again, I could be off base. I could be misunderstanding this law because I hadn't heard much about it in advance. But just my knee jerk reaction is like, is this really a big deal? Actually, I'm not sure. So
all right, again, Brad's hate for old people never ceases to amaze me.
Here's all I know is that I make at my day job, I make a pretty good salary, and my father-in-law takes home more money than me every pay. even though he's been retired from the fire department for 10 years.
Yep.
So
Good. Hell yeah. Good for him.
yeah,
That man saved children from burning buildings, you selfish asshole. What have you done for America? I mean, in fairness, like that dude did run into burning buildings. Like, I don't know. Give that guy money.
No. He retired a captain. That means he sat outside and just told people what to do while the other people were.
All right, no, that's fair. That's fair. Now, fuck that guy. That guy gets less money. He's the CEO of that fire department. Get out of here. No, it's like my father-in-law is retired. Like he retired as a heart surgeon. Yeah, like when I found out how much he's getting, like in retirement, I was like, Jesus Christ! Wow, dude! Like that's the most amount of money I've ever made in a year. That feels unfair, but at the same time, like you're a fucking heart surgeon, so like for the VA, by the way, like not even like private practice, which would have been insane. But yeah, so he's barely getting by on his bed.
But that's my point. Is like, does he really need the extra Social Security, or does like Meemaw, who look, like again, didn't work a job that had retirement benefits and doesn't have a 401k? Maybe she needs that money a little bit.
Again, we're at loggerheads for a while, and then maybe not so much. I don't know. You're moving me on the topic. All right, let's do a bit of laughing. Republicans had a brief yet telling civil war. So the Civil War, the OG Civil War, America, like the real one, basically was two groups of white people fighting over black people, like in the middle. We're just like, I don't know, guys, like maybe you guys should stop being dicks. And then they killed a bunch of each other, and that was pretty great. And this Civil War is two groups of white people fighting over like some Indians in the middle. Like, what did we do? We just got here. I'm just here to work with your business.
Yeah. So what we found out is that there are two very distinct factions within the MAGA cinematic universe. There's basically like racist MAGA. Which is what most people think of, your garden variety MAGA supporter. Yeah. And then there's Tech Bro MAGA. And Tech Bro MAGA are a lot more technocratic, as you would expect, about things a little bit, where they are like, hey, like, yeah, we love institutionalized racism, all for it. Like, yeah, we're totally down with that. Yes, fuck poor people. Not a huge fan of poor people. Yeah, we would pay no taxes if we had the option to. Less taxes all the way across the board. We're in line with you guys on that shit. But also, it's good to get high-skilled migrants coming into the country to fulfill important roles within society. Like that's a feature of America, not a bug. And all that racist MAGA heard was like, whoa. That sounds very not racist of you. And we don't like that at all.
We're here for the whites from here. Like, we're not here for the whites from anywhere else. Certainly not the browns from anywhere.
Yes.
I love this. This was my favorite thing during the holidays. More than Christmas, and this was my Christmas.
Well, and racist MAGA made the good point where we're like, I thought this was a valid point from racist MAGA, where they're like, hey, like you're saying, like you need all these engineers and like you need these like high skilled workers that like have these specific skills. Like you could teach us white people to do that. And basically, Tech Bro MAGA was like, no, you guys are too fucking dumb. Like we'd rather just like import the people that are already smart from these other countries.
You don't have like quite literally, you weren't raised in the right culture to do this work. And I was like, oh damn, like where are their fathers, man? Holy shit. That's fucking wild, right? Because like Vivek Ramaswamy was really the person who like lit the grenade and fucking threw it into a sea of bigots to light the shit off. And yeah, he was like, listen, basically the culture of like South Asian countries is just like better than yours. And I was like, okay, Jesus Christ. And so yeah, they flipped the fuck out. Now look, here's the wild thing. I think that when it comes to what was promised, promises made, promises kept, racist MAGA is actually correct here. Like they're like
they are correct. Like that was the mission statement that was
right. Like you guys
was
said,
presented to them.
right. You guys said, fuck immigrants, America first. Like that's quite literally part of your tagline. Make America great again, which does not include bringing those people over here, right? That's what you said. But at the end of the day, all of that doesn't really mean anything. And I forgot to put on the docket, it's like the Nancy Mace thing. Nancy Mace was like, we can't have transgender people in our bathrooms. It's unacceptable in Congress. They were like, yeah, no, we agree with you. Fucking, all the leadership and shit were like, yeah, you're right, Nancy Mace. And then when it came time to do the rules, they were just like, well, who gives a shit? Yeah.
We forgot. Sorry.
Yeah. We didn't give a shit. They and this is the thing that was so fun. Racist MAGA and Indian MAGA got to experience what all of us in the normal world on Earth 1 have always known. Tech bro MAGA and the MAGA movement in general, they don't
care
about you.
They don't give two
and
shits.
It was hilarious. I can't believe that they would do this to us. And I'm like, I can't believe you thought you mattered. Like you thought you mattered. It's like you ever watch the RNC and the DNC, and they got like not the officials, but like you got the people just like in the crowd, right? Like these are like low level fucking bloggers and shit, right? And they've got like the cowboy hat on that's got like DNC on it, and like I'm from this whatever state, and it's red, white, blue, and it all looks fucking stupid. But both parties do all this dumb shit, right? Those people think they're in it. They think they're a part of like the inner circle. To quote George Carlin, there's a big party. You ain't in it. Like you're just not in it. And like these MAGA like racists thought that they were in the inner circle. Bro, you're just a bunch of useful idiots. And
dude, they would not piss on you if you were on fire.
Dude, they wouldn't even think about it. Like they
would walk over your burning fucking body.
Yeah, they don't
and it was interesting to watch a lot of people have that realization.
Yeah,
come to them a lot earlier than I expected. Quite frankly, good for them, I guess. For better late than never. But
but I don't think it's going to stick.
Well, and it's also really It won't for a reason I'll say. The timing of this was also interesting because this fight happened literally right before the Cybertruck bombing.
It sure did. Yeah, but I was like, "Oh, I wonder if that was like."
Yeah, like it seems coincidental that all of a sudden this guy's like driving the Elon Musk vehicle in front of Trump Tower and being like, time to fucking blow this thing up. And it's funny because what ended the dispute is when Trump came out and was like, actually, no, I think the H-1B visa program is good. And so I guess because his word is law in the party that shut the racist MAGA portion of the crowd up for the most part.
It was wild. Like Lauren Loomer was in there, like fucking old hatchet face.
Lauren Loomer went from like, I can't believe Elon Musk has demonetized my Twitter account that I need to make money because it's literally my fucking income, within the span of 2 days, to basically on her knees being like, Elon Musk, I will suck your dick to get my Twitter account back. Please turn this shit back on.
I mean, apparently that's what she does. I mean, like, quite literally. Yikes! Here's a paper bag.
I will have your 15th child in order to get my to get my verification back online.
Good God! By the way, if I recall, I saw something that said that most of the women, if not all the women that he's had kids with, they're all via IVF, which I found curious. I was like, is he actually even having sex with any of these women?
I mean, how does he have time to have sex when he's the world's #1 ranked Diablo 4 player? Like you can't have sex and
is he
and fucking climb the leaderboards. He is a Diablo 4 player. There's some, and he is technically the top ranked like player in terms of like speed clearing the highest difficulty shit.
Wow.
There's some question over, is this actually him or is he having someone farm his account to make himself look good.
Oh,
So
well,
no one has seen him actually. Yeah, no one has actually witnessed him speed clearing like tier 160 pits in Diablo 4 that I've seen. So.
Okay, then he's 100% paying someone to do this. Like,
yes.
No, I'm not buying. Like, this guy's a fucking loser. So yeah, like their little civil war was interesting. It was interesting to watch conservative Indians be like, wait, well, I thought we were only being racist towards the blacks and
that's right, towards the blacks and the Mexicans. Like, why are we catching strays over here?
Yeah, like Chinese as well. I mean, we're fine with that, but like that was really weird, right? And it's funny because, like, from my perspective, all of the Indians I know are very liberal minded. So I'm just like, you deserve this, you dumb bastards. Like, what are you doing, dude? What are you fucking doing? Like, come on, man.
Yeah, like I said, it was an eye-opening experience for both sides of the equation, because tech bro MAGA, especially those who are of non-white ancestry, were just like, guys, I thought we were all friends here. And they're like, no. Like, racist MAGA is like, no. Like, we use you to serve our means. And then tech bro MAGA is like, but we use you to serve our means. And like it's the Spider-Man meme. They're both pointing at each other. Like,
oh my god, it's wonderfully stupid. But what it does tell me though is, and this is why I said it's a very telling little civil war.
Mm-hmm.
It's a level that you can exploit, because now you know that the tech bro MAGA people, especially Elon Musk, quite openly called racist MAGA, and look, his term, not mine. He like quite literally called them retarded. Like, that was the thing. Like, he's been like throwing that around a lot. I'm like, dude, what is happening right now? Like, are you 5? It's like really fucking weird. So if you're like offended by that term, I'm literally quoting him. Like, he's actually saying this. Like, he's dipped his foot into European politics, and like he's calling them the R word too. And I'm like, and then he has the nerve to put on Twitter, can you please put positive things on this platform?
Yeah, we need to make this a more positive place. Meanwhile, the chief bad vibes guy is out here saying the dumbest shit possible.
I was like, okay, like, as someone said, yeah, hang that fucking tweet in the Louvre, dude. Like, get the fuck out of here. You're so stupid. Like, you're so full of shit. But yeah, look, I think it's a way to exploit the rift between them. Now that you know that, right? You know that the techno, like, because it's now been said.
You are correct. A highly competent opposition party could absolutely exploit the rift between,
and that will never
those
happen.
two factions of MAGA. I will wait with bated breath for that to come to fruition. So.
Yeah, like you need, like, you got to be
this transitions into the next story.
Yeah, you got to be really do, and I'm not so sure they can be. All right, so that is it for quick happenings this week. All right, news you need, Brad. You were up.
Yeah, like, so part of this whole like I try to disengage from politic news as much as I could over the past couple of weeks, and I did a fairly good job. The parts where I tuned in, though, was kind of observing kind of the battening down of the hatches by the Democrats, right? Like, obviously, like we're hurtling towards this Trump presidency. We had the Republican Congress come into power this last week. So right now, the Democrats should be positioning themselves to get ready to oppose the other, what the Republicans are going to try to do. And so far, aside from fucking Joe Biden, to be quite honest, who's doing more than people are giving him credit for, as we just talked about earlier in the show in his closing weeks in office, I feel like the party is just falling down all over the place. And it started with something we talked about in our last episode that happened in committee, but they had the full vote where they were deciding who the chair or the minority chair of the Oversight Committee was going to be in the House. And
did it go well?
It did not, depending on your perspective, I suppose. It was Jerry Connolly against Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Now, no one needs to be told about AOC. I would imagine if you're listening to the show, you probably know who she is, and you're probably well aware of the fact that she is, for my money, the most effective messenger the Democratic Party has in elected office right now.
She is now, absolutely.
I don't think that that's in dispute, and she's not some young just got here, millennial that just got to Congress. Like, she's been in now for 6 years. Like, she's going to be in for years 7 and 8. She's, her message just always seems to be the right one. And I think having someone, a firebrand like that, in such a powerful position would serve the Democrats very well over these next 2 years, as you are trying to, call out the bullshit that the Republican Party is going to try to do while they have the reins. Jerry Connolly, on the other hand, I have nothing against Jerry Connolly. I find him quite affable and a pretty good guy. But Jerry Connolly is 74 years old. Jerry Connolly also was recently diagnosed with esophageal cancer. And basically, when asked, and he won this, in party election to serve as the ranking member for the Democrats on this very important committee. And basically, his rationale for why he does deserve this position over someone like an AOC is because, I've never had the chance to be a ranking member of or chairman of a full committee. So this is my chance. And look, I've been, I've got the bona fides and, I've got the credentials, and that's what my colleagues evaluated. And
Brett is reading a quote, by the way. Brett's reading a quote. He's not just saying this. He's reading a fucking quote, which is insane.
Yeah. And so my colleagues, rewarded me for the work that I've done so far. And I got to tell you, for the generation who famously loves to deride millennials, especially for participation trophies and getting a reward just because you happen to show up and it doesn't matter if your actual achievement or your accomplishment or not. This is a participation trophy ass fucking rationale. It's like, I've put in my dues. I deserve this promotion. Like, bro, Jerry Connolly, I don't dislike you, but you are not the guy to meet this moment. You just aren't. And it sucks for you that this very well, depending on how your diagnosis goes, and I wish the best for you there, very much sucks for you that this could literally be your last chance to lead a committee. This might be your last term in Congress for all we know. AOC is young. She'll have plenty of opportunities down the road. I feel for you. But sorry, the moment just is not the right one for you.
Different.
And we have more at stake than to give Jerry Connolly the shucks, give him this shot at the post, kind of shit. We have too much to do. Now, does this actually matter? It probably doesn't. The Democrats are not in power in the House in this next Congress. Obviously, it's not like AOC is not on the committee. She'll be second chair. She'll still get, plenty of time to, kind of to get her say and all that stuff. But I just think it would have been a really powerful statement of intent of the caucus to be we are moving on to the next generation. Obviously, perhaps hanging on to this old generation of leadership is what got us in this situation in the first place. So maybe we should look to actually turn the page. They started to kind of do that with, Pelosi handing off the leadership position to Hakeem Jeffries a couple of years ago. It turns out apparently it was Pelosi bullwhipping votes for Jerry Connolly behind the scenes that actually kind of put him over.
They fucked her over. Yep.
To the surprise of nobody. So that was really disappointing. And that kind of takes me to, in the wake of this new Congress getting seated, you have Hakeem Jeffries. He's the minority leader, and Democrats firmly backed him. They voted for him in lockstep for the speaker vote, as you would expect them to do. And the Republicans hold a very narrow margin, right? And Hakeem Jeffries is saying the things that you would expect him to say. He's like, hey, we're gonna stand guard against things like Social Security and Medicare, but we will find ways, we will find areas where we can look to work with Republicans, like look to work across the aisle and all that bullshit.
No, fuck them.
Here's something that Democrats have not, gathered from the results this last election. The Republican Party has been assholes for the last
40 years.
But especially the last 15 years, right? Like really, let's just go Obama presidency to current day. Like they have really stepped up the obstructionism. They have really
100.
stepped up, like the rhetoric and all that stuff, and they have paid zero political price for it. In fact, they've been rewarded for it because now they have this Supreme Court that is rubber stamping the worst stuff that they want to do. They have this Senate that is geographically advantaged towards them in general. They have the Electoral College, which is geographically advantaged in general. Voters don't give a fuck. And I used to very much be of the mind of like winning the right way, like not stooping to their level. We've talked about it several times on the show before over the years. And the reason I thought that is because I thought that when push came to shove, that voters would give a shit about people standing up for democracy and withholding the democracy as it stands.
Right.
And they proved overwhelmingly they do not care.
They don't pay attention on
at all. Yeah. So the Democratic Party needs to not be an opposition party. They need to be the obstructionist party.
Okay, I agree.
For this Republican agenda.
Yep.
They need to make sure in the Senate that the only bills that get passed out of that is going to be the bills that only require 50 votes. Anything else, we're going to fucking filibuster it. We're not letting you get anything passed. If you want to pass the shit, go ahead and change the rules. But then we'll laugh at you when we get back in power and only need 50 votes to end debate on something. In the House, when the 4-vote margin that Republicans currently enjoy, which is about to go to a 2-vote margin once Trump taps some of his cabinet picks from the House, and there's going to be massive infighting between the MAGA caucus and the normie Republican caucus. They're not going to be able to pass a lot of stuff by themselves.
No, they can't.
They're going to need some Democratic votes.
They've never been able to govern in their entire lifetime. No.
You had better excise actual, like, workable, tangible concessions from them in the legislation in order to give them even a single Democratic vote. And if not, then Hakeem Jeffries should be like, "Oh, you don't want our help? Figure it out yourself then. We're just going to sit here and
let them tear themselves apart." Look, I agree with you. I am not. I don't understand why Democrats would even consider, let's work with them. No. Look, bipartisanship is dead. Okay, let's be honest about it. Let's put all the cards on the fucking table, and whatever other analogy you want to use. It's dead. The goal now is to save the democracy the best you can. If that means nothing gets passed, then nothing gets passed. That means they are just fucking stuck for 4 years and they're screaming, or for 2 years, and they're screaming and shouting and calling you all kinds of names, then let them scream and shout. Give them a megaphone. They can yell your name from the fucking high heavens. Who gives a shit? Just
because guess who's going to be punished? It's going to be them, because they're the ones that are in charge. Because that's apparently the American public. The only thing they can do is hold accountable the party who happens to be
right
in the driver's seat.
But what I'm sorry, I said Democrats. Yeah. Yes, if Democrats go along with this shit, the Democrats will get punished. They just will, because that's the way it goes. So don't allow anything and just let them get nailed by their own people saying, you didn't get anything done. Look, the average American isn't paying attention to any of this shit, right? Mm-hmm. All they're going to see is the big immigration shit that's going to go down. They're not going to pay attention. They're not going to know jack shit about tax cuts or anything. None of it. So don't let any of it go through. Just don't let any of it go through. And they're going to be like, MAGA's going to be flipping out and yelling at Democrats. Who gives a shit? They're going to yell at you anyway. Just don't let anything go through. Anything like all of these, look, all of that Project 2025, all that mealy mouth fucking horse shit, they're like killing overtime and all that stuff. Anything that requires Congress that will hurt working people at all, you don't let it through. at all. We're in normal times. Oh, well, we compromised. Fuck it. Oh, you want to do that? No. But what about no?
Not even that. Don't vote for anything.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit if it's a bill to name a fucking post office.
Make them do
just
it
fucking sit back and let them figure it out themselves. Especially in the House, they don't need a single fucking Democratic vote. And if I was speaker, or if I was the minority leader, if I was Democratic leader, that's exactly what I would say. Like, look, they've got 217 votes. That's all. They only need 216. We're going to just sit here and vote no. They don't need a single vote from us. They can figure it out. They wanted this. They wanted to govern. They wanted to lead. They wanted to be the like have the vision for the party, for the country. Cool. Carry out your vision. We're going to stand over here and just be like, cool. Guess what? That's what Republicans fucking did for years and years and years. And the American people did not give a fuck. All that the media focused on was, oh, Democrats can't get this shit done. Democrats can't get this passed. Democrats can't, fulfill on this goal or this promise or this. Fuck that. They're in charge. Let them fucking deal with it. You sit over here and chill. Obviously stand up and fight the shit that's really fucking egregious, but don't give your votes to fucking anything.
Yep.
Not a thing. Unless you are getting something major in return. Not just some fucking all right, we'll cut some, money from the border control, like that kind of, no, you're going to give money to this other fucking thing that we want you to give money to if you want us to vote for this budget.
Yep.
That
exactly.
kind of shit.
I agree. And look, and I would even argue, not even just concessions of where you get something, also concessions where they give up something, right? Not just a matter of all right, we're going to fund, public television. Yeah, great. Whatever. Sesame Street. That's awesome. And it should be fucking funded forever, you fucking monsters. But not just that, but, you wanted, to be able to fucking, I don't know, throw these people out of the country. No, I want my funding and I don't want you to do that. Well, we can't do that. Well, then I'm sorry, buddy. I don't know what to fucking tell you. Looks like you don't have the votes. Suck my dick. But to me, I 100% agree. It should not be the opposition party. It should be the obstructionist party. Just take a hard fucking stance. You stroll your ass into work every day and just be hit that no stamp and then you walk the fuck home. I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be easy 4 years for me, baby. I ain't doing none of that shit you asked for. Nothing. Why are Democrats not helping democracy? Have you read the things that they were proposing? Well, they're terrible.
Sorry. You, the people didn't want us to lead. You told us we fucked it up. So, like I said, we're gonna take a back seat. We're gonna let the fucking visionaries handle it. You guys wanted the visionaries. Yeah. I saw I was scrolling on TikTok and I came across a Destiny clip, and he's going even more extreme than I am. I think he's saying that Democratic states and cities who are net contributors to the federal federal funding and stuff like that, they should fight having their money go into federal funding because people these Republican areas need to stop getting bailed out by blue cities and by blue states. You want this leadership. This is what you choose. Cool. You get every bit of it. And if that means you have to eat shit and that means you have to fucking suffer, oh well, that's what you voted for. People need to start feeling consequences. I don't like fucking saying that because it makes me sound like a huge fucking asshole, but I don't know what else to do to get it through these dumb fucking idiots' head to stop voting for these fucking people who do not have your well-being as a motivating factor for them. Yeah.
No, look, I thought about it today and I felt a very similar thing. I was like, yeah, a bunch of people need to get deported. They kind of do. I don't want it to happen. How else are you going to fucking
because at the understand?
Because at the end of the day, the thing that I think everybody listening to the show understands, right? Because you guys are smart, right? But every 4 years, Republicans regain power, or every 4 to 8 years, Republicans regain power. They destroy the budget. They destroy the economy. Right? They tank it. They get us into military conflicts a lot of times. or they do a bunch of saber rattling, which causes destabilization in all parts of the world. They pull out of things like the Paris Accords and shit like that. They rip up treaties, all sorts of shit, right? Then it puts us all at the brink, the financial brink, the fucking mutual assured destruction brink.
Not even at the brink. A recession happens.
Right.
Always.
Guaranteed. Right. But we are always, we find ourselves at the financial brink, or when Biden came in, we're at the brink as far as like, the sort of medical situation that's happening and everything else, like millions of people or potentially millions of people are dying and shit like that. Right. We're always put at the brink. Democrats come in when voters go, I can't take this anymore. This is too much. I can't believe these guys have screwed up so bad. We've got to put the Democrats in. Let's get the Democrats in. Let's change parties and let's see if they can do it. And the Democrats come in and they toil and they toil and they toil and they fix it. And then everyone goes, we're not at the brink anymore. And then we go back to just being off the fucking edge of the cliff. And then people turn around in the midterms and go, why the fuck are we so close to the cliff? How the fuck did we get here? Democrats, I can't believe you put us here. And it's like, but you were just they're like, no, I don't remember any of that because my brain is like a goldfish, or it's just a bowl with a goldfish, a dead one in it, right? So like they don't remember anything because things turn out to be pretty good. And then when people get laxed, they just forget shit. They just stop thinking about how bad it was, right? Then they give the power back to Republicans to see what they can do, and the cycle starts over. At some point, and it's unfortunate, but at some point, we have to go off the cliff a bit. We do, because the problem is you can't keep pulling people back from the cliff before they understand. Sometimes, like fucking cliffhanger, you can't hold on and be like, well, sorry. And then somebody has to fall off the cliff. So other people can go, okay, we should probably not do that anymore. Yeah, Unfortunately, it's going to be a lot of people who don't deserve it, right? Mm-hmm. And it's going to there's going to be people who do deserve it. like, let's get real. Do I want to see those people?
Personally, I really hope it's people who do deserve it.
Who mostly deserve it? Yeah, of course.
I really hope and pray that pray, silly. I really hope that when the shit inevitably goes down, that it disproportionately impacts the people who voted to get
100%. Or people who did not vote at all. If I'm being honest, because those people are the ones.
To me, those are two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, no, I agree, but I'm just saying those people of everyone, those are the people who really need to go, holy shit, what happened? Like, why are we at the bottom of the cliff? Well, because you weren't fucking.
And I just thought about this as you were going through that. Like what the real problem is that Republicans, especially, primarily, really have coded the media. They've coded the people to hyperfixate on what's going wrong in the country all the time. And so when Republicans are in power, to your point, like they fucking act like it's an Airbnb that they don't have a security deposit on, and just fucking trash the fucking place. And then to your point, like Democrats come in, they save the day, they rescue us. But instead of getting credit for the things that they did that are good, all that people hyperfixate on is, well, here's what's still fucked up. Here's what's still bad. We need to get someone in to fix this stuff that's still bad. And the Democrats are like, yeah, what about all this other stuff that we fixed? They're like, well, fuck you, you didn't fix this. And then Republicans make everything bad. And then they're like, holy shit, like everything's on fire. But because of how the media is coded in this country, because of how the people have been kind of hardwired to look at things in this country, you're never, ever focusing on, hey, these are things that are going really well. Yeah. No one has ever, nobody in the history of the fucking universe has ever taken home their fucking paycheck at the end of every 2 weeks or the end of every week and been like, I've got about the correct amount of money that I need. Like I'm perfectly good. I don't need another cent.
You know what?
Everybody wants fucking more money than
they go. I nailed it.
Yeah.
Like pretty good. Like, yeah, no, I agree. And you're right. It is coded in the media 100%. It is definitely coded in people. It's coded on the left super hard. Like it really is, right? Because
we can never accept our own W's ever. Like it's just always like
we can't. It's
like, hey, like we did this thing that you guys wanted, and we got 90% of what we tried to accomplish. And the first reactions always be, yeah, what about the other 10%?
You're like,
what about that?
Like, oh my God, stand over here and fucking choke you. Like,
hey, we got you the whole loaf of bread, but we did cut off the heels before we gave you the loaf of bread. So the heels are
the heels.
What about my fucking heels?
But I love the heels. Everyone knows the heels of the bread are the best. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, it's maddening, right? Like it really is, because you cannot progress if you cannot see things moving forward. If you never think anything is fixing and getting better, then how can you ever progress? All you're always going to be doing is living in the past. Yes, there are problems. And the biggest issue is America is a big fucking ship, man. It's got 330 million people on that fucking Carnival cruise ship. It takes a while to get things moving, man. And sometimes you get a pretty good swing and you're like, oh shit, like the ACA. But that's not a full turn of that boat. We all know that. If the left had just maybe shut the fuck up for 9 minutes and been like, yeah, this is pretty good, then you could just be like, and the next part is then we're going to fucking do the public option. And then the next part
or just fucking celebrate some wins. And by the way, the party at large also needs to fucking learn that lesson, because, and I've heard this said a million times before, and I fully agree with this. Democrats do not fucking pound their chest as much as they fucking need to. You need to have these fucking support, surrogates or whatever the fuck, analysts, whatever, going on MSNBC, going on CNN, going on fucking Fox, and being like, look, dude, look at what we fucking did. This is fucking awesome. And then when the fucking host or whatever, or another panelist tries to be like, oh, what about this? Like, fuck, yeah, like that would have been cool, but look at all these fucking people we're helping. Why are you trying to shit on this? Like, this is a legitimately awesome thing that the Democrats did. Republicans have no problem coming out and fucking stroking their own dicks about the stuff that they fucking do. Even if it's like the most minuscule fucking thing in the entire world.
It's not even shit they do. They just steal credit of what Democrats have done. I'm going to tell you right now, people are going to think that Donald Trump passed the Social Security thing. 100%. That's why the whole, let me sign the fucking check bullshit worked. Donald Trump didn't do anything. Nancy Pelosi got that shit done. The Democrats got that done. But he signed that shit so that he could be like, you're welcome. And the thing is, people only remember that. They don't know anything else that comes behind it. And look, I get it. I get it.
I love that shit, man. Fucking Donald Trump gave you $600. People are like, oh, look at all this money. Fucking Biden got you $1,400. And nobody remembers that it fucking happened.
No. But, I mean, look, there's also another part of this. It is far easier. Like, one thing I hate is the messaging argument. Oh, well, Democrats don't message very well. And, and like in some ways they don't, right? And in other ways they do. But it's like a standard, it's like a bog standard answer of like, Democrats can reach more people if they went out and talked about, their policies and what they want to do. I'm like, Kamala Harris talked about her policies all the time. Like, she was super on fucking message. Anytime they tried to knock her off message, she was like, by the way, this is what I'm going to do, ... It was like to the point where it just felt like a robot repeating it, right? Like, she stayed on fucking message.
But I don't think you can just do that.
No.
But in the run up to an election.
Right.
Like, you have to do it all the fucking time.
No, I agree. But no, my point is this. It is much easier to make arguments, simplistic arguments, especially when they're lies, than it is to make simplistic arguments about complex truths. Like, it just is hard, right? I'm going to do
it is, but you got to fucking figure it out, though, man.
You do have to figure it out.
As we've been saying, if you've learned nothing else, you need to learn to talk to these fucking people like they're five, because that is the only that is the level of comprehension that they are able to.
Right, but again, I'm gonna give you $5,000 to start a new business. Or $50,000 or whatever the fuck it was. What the fuck is more simple than that? People often do not want to hear And I hate to make this analogy, but it's absolutely true. People want to hear from the fucking jocks. They don't want to hear from the nerds. It's just a reality. Republicans are seen as the jocks and Democrats are seen as the nerds. Like they just are. Even though nerds fucking rule the world now, all the fucking richest people in the world are nerds. All nerd culture is fucking everywhere. There is still a fundamental issue in America of high school, like logic. It just is. Like the fucking Republicans are out there with their goddamn letter jackets being like the alpha beta fucking douchebags, right? And the Democrats are like, they're fucking lambda, lambda, lambda. Like they just are. And there's no amount of logic and reason until shit goes completely hell in a handbasket. Do people go, hey, what do the nerds say? Like they just don't listen to them. Like, and I think there are messaging issues, but I just think fundamentally people go, well, like that guy just seems cool. Like Trump is like the least cool motherfucker on the planet. Like it's really weird. Like Kamala Harris.
I will go to my fucking grave.
Never understand.
Not able to understand.
I don't understand. I don't get it. Right. But like by all standards, like I've seen enough 80s movies. Kamala Harris is definitely the cooler kid out of the two of them. Right. Like Jesus Christ. But at the end of the day, it is a jocks versus nerds situation. It really is. How do you beat that? I don't know. Besides, people gotta hurt, man. They do. I don't want them to hurt. I really don't. But I think people are gonna have to turn on the fucking 6 o'clock news and see families getting ripped the fuck apart and go, whoa, what the fuck are we doing right now? And then, maybe then, and if it happens to someone they know, because that's how Republicans work. Their brains just cannot imagine other humans exist in the world. Then they go, hey, wait a minute. I don't like that. And if the hurt is bad enough, especially if it's financial hurt, because apparently just humans being hurt is not enough for Republicans. It actually has to be financial hurt. Like, oh my God, the price of eggs has increased. If it is that, then and only then can Democrats and liberals and progressives exploit it and go, hey, we need to, and here's a devilish word here, we need to collectivize and actually try to come up with a plan for the future of the country and work together to make shit better. That is what you need to do. Right now, they're like, hey, we have this plan, but the nerds are fractured too, right? So it's like, we got to have this plan, and then like the mainstream Democrats are like, we need to have this plan. The fucking crazy uber liberals are like, you haven't let all the people out of jail yet. And you're like, okay, like, what are you talking about? And then you have like the fake left fucking corporate D-bags, like the Young Turks are like, hey, can we hang out with Matt Gaetz? Like, and you're just like, what the fuck is going on over there? And it seems fractured and weird. And then the right is like,
but here's the only problem.
The simple message
is that it gets you to the next election. And then you're going to have the same fucking problems.
I agree.
All over again.
Right. So what you have to do is you have to figure out how the fuck do you, like, I think you do have to kind of be like, they got it. Like, you got it. Like, go ahead, Republicans, do your thing. And then just let Americans see exactly what they ordered. And that's going to hurt a lot of people. Because it's going to hurt a lot of people who don't want that shit. But I don't understand how you can fix people's mindsets without letting them truly see how bad it can get. And the problem is, I don't know if once it gets so bad, you'll be able to pull it back from the brink. That's
to put a bow on this. I think one thing that we have not talked about is the perception, especially for people of, you know, the younger part of my generation and the generation coming up behind me, is that they continually look at this as this fucking group of old assholes versus this other group of old assholes. Yeah. I think that if Democrats want to be successful, they have to get younger. They have to start getting people to the front of the line who are from these younger generations, because those are the people that are going to have the wants and needs of their generations in mind.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but the fucking cadre of boomers is never going to be able to legislate around like big tech, for example, because they don't fundamentally understand it.
Yeah. And look, to your point, it would look very good if the Republican Party is the party of olds and the Democratic
Mhm.
Party is the party of young people. Like it
Yeah.
it fundamentally is that's true. Like it's already fundamentally there, but visually it needs to be there, right? Like you need
and this comes from from the fucking top of the party, by the way. Like the National Party has a lot that they could do about this, and it really is incumbent on them to subtly behind the scenes tell the old guard time to sit the fuck down.
Yep.
And if you're not going to go away quietly, we're just going to stop giving you money and just fund the shit out of your out of a fucking primary challenger for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the front of the party at this point needs to be Hakeem Jeffries, AOC, the squad. Like, you know, like you need those folks out in front. Like that's what you need. It needs to be brown. It needs to be diverse. As far as
I don't think diversity is the Democrats' problem. I think
no. I know. I'm just saying, but this is what it needs to look like. It needs to be racially diverse. It needs to be as close to 50-50 gender as you can get, right? To show that you stand with women equally, and it needs to be young. They ain't got to be fucking 12 years old and shit. But like AOC is still young. AOC is not even fucking 40, I don't believe, right? So. So
I'm not even saying it's got to be a fucking caucus of AOCs.
No, it doesn't
you can have 50-year-olds in there.
But right, like that's fine. That's not that old. However, Nancy Pelosi, I'm literally walking into the inauguration or walking into the certification with a fucking walker because I broke my hip recently. That's unacceptable. Like Nancy, get the fuck out of the way, right? Like you got to move, right? And you also got to stop doing dirty shit behind the scenes. Right? I'm not saying y'all can't be there doing work, whipping votes and stuff like that, but you don't whip votes against the young people who need to be out front of this party. Like they need to be out front. They absolutely do. Like the squad should be a major part of the front of that fucking party by now. It should be. Like, I'm sorry. Adam Schiff should be a major part of that party. Right? Like he needs to be pushed up front, right? And Adam Schiff ain't no fucking spring chicken.
Sorry, Chuck Schumer, go away, you old man. Like
Schumer should retire, and just be like, Alexandria, by all means.
I mean, like he's in the Senate, but I mean, like you.
No,
like,
I know
it's time. It's time for the next generation. Like the House.
No, I'm saying he should retire, and she should take his fucking seat in the Senate.
I see what you're saying. Yes, they are from the same state, obviously. Yes.
So like, fucking get in there, right? Like, that's what the party should have looked like. That's what it should have looked like. I'm disgusted by what the country did in these last number of months, but it should have been Kamala Harris at the fucking top of that goddamn ticket with
from Jump Street, yes,
right 100%. From fucking Jump Street, and her as president with a fucking
and by the way,
fucking young
Jay
people.
and I did not bang that drum. Well, no. like we were just like, I guess we were wrong. We were wrong about that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But hindsight being what it is, right? Look, goldfish brain. I don't even remember that. Who remembers who ran? Who even knows, right? So yeah, no, I do think it should have been, and I'm not even talking about running, but I'm talking about as far as winning this election. It should have been Kamala Harris as president, and a bunch of goddamn young people behind her. Like it just should have been, man. Like she's what, 60? Like, look, that's considered quote unquote older, like in American society, but in Congress, she might as well be 3 years old. Like, what the fuck? Like, she's in her first semester of being in Congress. Like, get the fuck out of here. So, there's no reason that the party leadership, it should kind of like be kind of capped at like 70, 75, the oldest you ever are. Get the fuck out of here.
This Congress,
no one should be an octogenarian. That's insane to me.
This Congress in both the House and the Senate is going to be the third oldest Congress ever.
That's ridiculous.
In the history of the United States. By in terms of average age.
Yuck. Yeah,
insane.
It's absolutely ridiculous. What was that chart? I'm trying to find that you guys sent me recently, and it showed like how the median age for Congress was dropping, and then like decade over decade, because they were getting the fucking olds out of there. And then when Reagan came in, it started skyrocketing again.
Yeah, of course.
because he was fucking old. And they were like, oh, you can be an old ass fucking president. Why don't we get a bunch of old fucking people to stick around forever? And it's like, this is the problem. This is the fucking
Once
problem.
again, can always be traced back to history's number one villain, or America's number one villain, I should say.
No, you had it right. Like, fuck.
No, I mean, I would still rank Hitler and like Mussolini above Ronald Reagan. It's close.
Okay. No, I'm kidding. Fine.
I'll give you that one.
Yeah, you win. Whatever. The median age before 1980s was roughly 58 years old for the Senate, and roughly 54, 52, actually like 52-ish for the House, all the way into the 1980s. That's when it dropped to its lowest point, right? It was like, all right, we're like early 50s, everybody.
And I just want to clarify, because you said it, that's median age, not average age. So median age is probably skewing higher than average age, just because.
Yes. So, and then right after Reagan, it shot right the fuck up, and it went all the way up to 64 by 2020, 2020. So, yeah, stop putting a bunch of old people in Congress. It's ridiculous. Start kicking these motherfuckers out. Like, they don't know what they're doing. Like, ask them to show
voters seem not to be able to do for themselves what they need done for them, apparently. Again, Chuck Grassley 2 years ago was voted in by the citizens of Iowa to serve a 6-year term in the Senate at the age of 89. He is now 91 and still has 4 more years to go.
4 more
in
years.
That term.
4 more years. He's not going to make it.
It's like if you're a fucking voter in Iowa, like what
you doing?
Republican voter in the private, like what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Seriously.
He's got an R next to his name. Like, he can't tweet.
You didn't have to vote him in the primary.
You did.
Thank you for your service, Chuck Grassley. Go retire. Nah. Go sit on your fucking farm making your fucking dementia tweets that we can't understand what the fuck you're saying.
More on that later. You never know where a member of Congress will end up. Where have they been?
Oh my god.
You never know. By the way, I think here's a quick rule that you can institute. When people run for office, it should have their age in parentheses next to their.
Yes, it should. Yes, it should. Yeah, 100%.
That's ageist. I agree.
Yes, I agree.
It is, because you could be like, that person's too young. This person's too old. 89? Fuck no, I'm not voting for that guy. Get the fuck out of here. Like, no, absolutely not. Yeah. So Chuck Grassley, 900, -R. Like, it's not that hard. Simple.
And look, as a result, like would that also hurt like younger members of Congress? Yeah, probably. Yeah. I'd imagine it would be difficult for a Maxwell Jacob Frost when he was 25 to get in. If like you're like, I'm voting for a 25-year-old. Like, I remember when I was like at 25. Like, I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want to be in Congress when I was 25. So yeah, it would make it difficult. And you would get like probably a bunch of like 40 and 50 somethings predominantly in Congress. Is that such a terrible thing? Probably not.
No,
it's probably fine.
Can we just have some people with life experience, but not too much life experience where they can't remember a lot of it? Like, no, I'm good. Thank you. So yeah, it's fine. All right, let's talk about your boy. Is he retiring? Is Trudeau?
Yeah, he is. According to him, he is retiring. So basically, well, I don't know if he's retiring, but he's at least stepping down as the leader of the Labour Party in Canada. So Justin Trudeau has been in charge of the Canadian Labour Party, which is their Democratic Party, essentially, in Canada since 2013. He's been the Prime Minister since 2015, which is crazy to think that he's been in that top job that long. But yeah, basically he said, look, obviously the direction of the party the direction of the country is shifting away from my vision. So I'm going to resign. I'm going to let the Labour Party pick a new leader. And yeah, like here we fucking go. Not great from a timing standpoint. Like, I get that he's been there for almost 10 years, and that's a long time to have one guy be in charge of the country. And I'm sure that his policies were grating on Canadians, but considering the anti-incumbent shift that we're seeing around the world in politics, I'm pretty much expecting Canadians to have a conservative government when they next hold elections. And just in case you aren't aware of Canadian politics, the conservatives up there are just as batshit fucking nuts as the conservatives down here.
Well, so. they are, but like even they still think like people should have health care, which is always hilarious.
Yes. Yeah. Also, like, yes. Also correct.
Yeah. They're
also
like, no, we're crazy, but like, that's not crazy. Like, come on, guys. Like, we're not barbarians. Like, what are we, Americans? Get out of here. Yeah, that sucks. Look, I don't necessarily like. I'm not like, oh, Justin Trudeau is like the best ever, or whatever. I just don't want to see Canadians get looped into the Trump train nonsense of electing conservatives, because it never works out well for them.
Brother, they're already halfway there. I hate to break it to you.
Yeah, I know. Well, look, there are 3 major countries in the continent of North America. Mexico, A number 1. Numero
Mexico,
uno.
es numero uno. Yes.
Yeah. Numero uno de el continente. Yeah, we're going to be the shit. So I promised you, Brad, because we talked briefly about this offline. I told you that I would give you some stories from some locals of their thoughts on America's politics, because I was hanging out with some local Mexican folks, and one, they were like, "The fuck, like what are they doing up there?" Which I was like, "That is correct."
Can't blame them.
The other part, and these people, some of them have lived in the U.S. They're Mexican, but they've lived in the U.S. for a number of years, and then they've lived here most of their lives. And one of the other things was they weren't too sure about the president here, the new president here. And then when she came out and was like, "Yeah, go fuck yourself. We're not just letting go fuck yourself, Trump. We're not just gonna let you just do whatever you want." They were like. The response, and this should be a lesson to politicians everywhere, the response from Mexican citizens was like, "I like her. I like that."
Yeah.
They like strength. And that's the thing is, all she had to do was go, "Nah, I don't fucking think so." And they were like, "See." Like, yes. That was it. And they liked it. They liked the strength. They liked her strong rebuttal against that shit. And they were like, "Nah, fuck that. Like, we're our own country. Like, a part of America, like fuck you," because like there's a weird sentiment in America like that, like every Mexican is dying to come north to the promised land.
Secretly wishes that like we would just come down and I guess annex Mexico, make them the state. Yeah. So.
Well, I mean, let me just tell you something. Not everybody's doing that. Okay, like they're not. They're fine where they are. They don't want you coming down here, bothering their shit, and they don't want to come up there. Like this idea of like, oh, we wish we were just like America. No, they don't. They don't.
By the way, what is this like weird obsession that Trump has with like talking about like making Canada a state? Like what the fuck is going on there?
It's not good.
First of all, I find it hilarious that he's like, yeah, take the whole country, literally the second largest country that's in terms of landmass in the entire fucking world, and just make that one state. Like not acknowledging that there's like different cultures across different provinces in Canada. Not even acknowledging that like Quebec is like the Texas of Canada. Yeah, they're just like, yeah, like you guys are Canadian, but we're Quebec. like that's like that their whole fucking mindset basically. Yeah, like so just like no. They're all Canadian, they're all the same, they're all one fucking state. Oh, like you guys are a part of America now? You don't need to learn French as a mandatory language. Like fuck that. Who the fuck speaks French? Not like half your population. I mean, basically.
I wanna think that it's an idea of like weirdly trying to destabilize like conversations, right, with Canada. Mm-hmm. Like, but I think it's just him being fucking dumb. Like I think it's just being dumb.
It's very dumb.
Like I don't think it's like clever. I don't actually think it's funny. I just think it's like fucking stupid. Like I saw somebody put out a map, some like MAGA turd, and they were just like, "Here's what North America should look like," and it was like all of Canada, all of the U.S., and then like selective parts of Mexico. I was like, well, that's convenient. Like they were like, that's all going to be America, and like where I live was selected in this new America. I was like, look, no, no, thank you. I moved here for a reason. Like I didn't move here to then become.
I'd like to think if Trump was asked to like label a map of Canada, like he would do like the meme version where it's just like Ontario is Toronto, and then like everything else is like the Toronto suburbs, basically. Yeah.
America's hat, America's pants. That's it. Like he would probably just name them the hat and pants. Like those are the 51st and 52nd state. So
yeah, like he has this weird obsession with like gaining additional territory, which is just like
why.
I think he wants it because it's like something that would be like permanent, that like you could never undo.
Right, like it's a history book. It's a history book kind of thing.
Yeah, like it's like and it would always be associated with him, right? Like that's why he's like dying to get like Greenland from Denmark for some reason.
Like okay, like dude,
like hey, like I want this giant fucking landmass that's all ice and almost entirely uninhabitable, like, but I want to make it part of America.
We'll terraform.
Why?
Yeah, it's fucking dumb. But I think you're right. Like there's that idea of like the Louisiana Purchase, the Greenland Purchase. Like these are right up there with each other as importance of America, right? Like it's very dumb. He also is probably one of those dumb people who thinks that Greenland is the nice one, right? He's like, oh, yes. Greenland, it's very green. It's green's in the name. It's got to be good. It's got to be good. That was a trick. And it worked even to this day. So yeah, he's very weird. Like, I mean, obviously none of that's happening. Like it's stupid. Republicans playing along with it, they're equally as dumb. Like it's just, I don't know, guys. Why don't you figure out how to not blow
it doesn't make any fucking sense to me, but okay.
It doesn't. All right, let's quickly go through some of these. They got it in one. Speaker of the House.
Ish.
All right, let's start.
Yeah, so they had the speaker vote last week. When the roll was called originally for the first vote, Mike Johnson did not have the votes. But he, I have to admit, deftly kept the vote open longer than he should have, and he basically had Nancy Mace get Trump on the horn to talk to a couple of the holdouts that had voted for somebody else other than Trump, and ultimately those two people switched their votes to Mike Johnson. Which got him over the hump on the first vote. But again, like he had to kind of pull all these strings to make it happen. But then he also got afterwards, after he did get a sternly worded letter from the Freedom Caucus, basically telling him, "Hey, you better not fuck around. You saw what happened to the last guy."
Oh damn! Like, hey, we'll do it. We'll bring Matt Gaetz back.
Yeah.
Yuck. Yeah. Okay. Look, he's hanging on the thread. I don't see him lasting a year.
Oh, fuck no. He's not making it to the next Congress.
No.
The speaker. No way.
Nope.
No way, shape, or form. He will do something that pisses off Trump, and then the knives will all come out.
Yep. Him. And look, Trump will just be like, get rid of him. And that's it. Don't they still have that rule? Like, can one person fucking get the vote going?
So I don't think I don't think they're keeping the rule where you just need one person. I think they did kind of back that up to the normal 9-person rule that I think existed before. However, interestingly, one thing they did do is they did change the rules so that only the party in power could bring up the vote to like the vote of no confidence, especially, which has never been done before, by the way. So.
Yeah, they also Trump also came out and said that he wants to fire the head of the IRS. That's never been done either, by the way, because that's a 5-year term. And he's like, yeah, why don't we just get rid of him now? Gee, I wonder why.
It's supposed to be.
We'll see.
It's supposed to be.
Trump pushes the, as I'm calling it, the Moab, the mother of all bills in Congress. That ain't going to fucking pass, by the way. Best of luck, you dumb fuck. President-elect Donald Trump ordered congressional Republicans Sunday to pass one powerful MAGA bill that will ram through his most controversial policies on everything from taxes to immigration. From the party, it's like, we want to make sure it's just a single bill, so no, it doesn't have to be complex, because if we got to read more than 8 words, it's going to be too hard. We just need a single bill, nothing in it. Right? Same party. Quote, Republicans must unite and quickly deliver their historic victories for the American people. Get smart, tough, and send the bill to my desk to sign as soon as possible. Make America great again, he says. So yeah, he wants this to basically be securing the border, energy policy. I'll read his truth.
Mm-hmm.
Members of Congress are getting to work on one powerful bill that will bring our country back and make it greater than ever before. By the way, if anyone ever tells you they can fix all of your problems with one thing, that person is lying to you. Just saying. And I know what you're thinking. In what context, Jay? And my answer to that is yes. So
all of them. All of the contexts.
All of the contexts. We must secure the border, unleash American energy, and renew the Trump tax cuts, which were the largest in history. But we will make it even better. No tax on tips. It will be all made up with tariffs and much more from countries that have taken advantage of us for years. Republicans must unite and quickly deliver this historic victories for the American people. Get smart, tough, send the bill to my desk as soon as possible. Make America great again. I sent this to you earlier, and you were like, good luck getting this through the Senate. It's not.
Yeah, I mean, famously, the Senate loves voting for things sight unseen, with not being able to read through the bill and all that stuff. Plus, again, for those that need reminding, the only way that you could even get this bill through the Senate at all is by having it be exclusively budgetary, because those are the only bills that aren't beholden to the 60 vote and debate, filibuster threshold. So you can't put any like actual like changes in law in there and stuff like that. Yeah, you can only do like budgetary stuff essentially, which would get them a lot of the ways, and they can do their taxes and all that shit. But the Senate tends to be a little bit more judicious with like evaluating this shit and making sure that like you're not doing the dumbest things possible. Even Republicans in the Senate are not always going to be on board for some of the crazier shit they want to do. So I mean, I guess it's cool that he wants to like ram this through as like one mega bill. There's a reason that Congress doesn't do that, and that's because the legislative process makes it very difficult for stuff like this to get through.
Yeah, on purpose, by the way. So
yeah.
Best of luck.
So cool. Yeah, we'll see what happens there. It'll be great.
It's going to fail. Like that's what's going to happen. And that's great. That's good for us. Yeah. Businesses can't decide if it's bluster, if it's just bluster or serious. Go for it. This is a funny story.
Yeah, so basically, like, Trump obviously talks about his tariffs all the fucking time because he's a fucking idiot. But there was a Washington Post story that was supposedly leaked out from people close to his administration or incoming administration, saying that he planned on actually scaling back on the tariff plans that would only apply to limited, like, specific critical imports, is what they were saying.
I loved it.
And this is obviously done wisely to make sure that businesses don't, freak the fuck out as we get closer to Inauguration Day, that they're about to have a fucking 20% tax added to all of their imports from overseas.
Oh yeah.
But unwilling to let sleeping dogs lie, Donald Trump had to come out today and be like, no. The story in the Post, quoting so-called anonymous sources, which don't exist, incorrectly by tariff policy will be pared back. That is wrong. Basically insinuating, saying, oh, we're going fucking full speed ahead, just like I did during the campaign. But again, he's still sitting on but it's going to be paid for by all these countries that are exporting the goods into the United States.
You think he's lying, or you think he's telling the truth?
Dude, who the fuck knows? Because I think his strategy is dumb either way, because one of two things is going to happen. Either you're going to fucking put the tariffs in place, tank the economy, potentially piss off all these people that are just like, hey, you told us that the fucking exporting country was going to pay for the tariff. Why are we paying for the tariff? And it's going to fucking crater your like put a fucking dent in your support, or you're gonna basically like use this as leverage against other countries, which I think is what people think he's trying to do, like threaten countries with these tariffs.
Yeah.
And a lot of these countries are going to call your fucking bluff because they know that it would be massively unpopular if you did this. Yep. And they'll be like, all right, bro, like make the tariff happen. Let's see what happens. And then he doesn't do it so that all these countries know, oh, actually he's full of shit. We don't have to fucking listen to him bloviate anymore. All the while, American businesses are just like, what the fuck are we doing? like, what the fuck are we doing here, guys? Yeah. Like when he first got in, like there wasn't a lot of movement in the markets because I think all the corporations thought that he was full of shit. Like he was just using it for leverage. And as we get closer and he's not, like we're getting mixed signals now. I think now a lot of investors and a lot of corporations are starting to get a little bit more worried about what's actually going to happen or not happen. And look, if the fucking markets, if finance loves anything, it's chaos. I mean, famously, nothing is better for financial markets than just complete uncertainty.
Like, I wonder what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know. Let's bet it all on a horse. Yeah, right. It's funny because it is watching, like even watching the big, sort of corporate CEOs like. What's it fucking Tim Apple, like, here's $1 million for your inauguration, please don't blow up the economy, please don't attack us, like we're your friends,
please don't fuck up all of our phones that are assembled in China and imported over, like
basically there'll be a lot of cutouts like, well, okay, Apple can fucking, don't worry about that. They're my friends. So yeah, it's I don't know what he's going to do. I think that's kind of the plan, which is, a wild card, right? Like that's it. That's his idea. But I think that, like you said, if he goes forward with it and he tanks that fucking economy, oh baby, what are you gonna do? Because people are gonna turn on you fucking hard, man. They're gonna turn on you fucking hard. I mean, you're already seeing so many people be like, I think I'm kind of regretting my vote, like legitimately saying that, like out loud. But when the economy starts to tank, it's going to be really hard for you to, like, he'll try to blame it on Biden. They'll try to blame Democrats. But in reality, it's going to be really difficult because it's going to come from the idea of these tariffs, when I put them in place, because he can't help. This is the problem with banging your chest all the time, right? I'm doing this. I'm the guy. Check me out. Is everyone paying attention? Everyone's like, okay, yeah, we're looking. And then you're like, institute, and then it blows everything up, and it's like, but it wasn't me. It's like, nah, motherfucker.
Well, and that's the problem, is that
you're really banging your chest.
The problem with the American people being fucking dumb is that people are like, oh, the economy is so terrible, like Trump's going to fix it. Actually, the economy's good. It's got a real, it has a real long way it could go in the opposite direction.
Yeah, right.
And so you can't just fucking blame Democrats and be like, it was actually them that did this, because then people actually look at the data and be like, oh no, actually things were going pretty good until you did this thing, and then the line started going the wrong direction.
Hard down, bro. Hard down. Yeah. And look, I hate to say this. I don't wish it on anybody. I really don't. But the stars seem to be aligning in a way that is not fucking good. That I have a very, very creeping feeling that we're going to find ourselves in another pandemic very soon. There's the bird flu. France just came out and was like, we found our first human monkeypox situation. I think we're getting very close to another one, and I don't know if it'll be as bad as COVID-19, but I don't think we're escaping another 4 years without one. I really just
look, bro. I made a lot of unnecessary tech purchases in the last several months in anticipation of bad things happening. I work from home. I will get whatever vaccines you throw at me. I will observe all of this from the comfort of my office.
And I look it. So look, people down here believe in medicine. So
it's because you can get it for an inexpensive price.
That is also true. It's also true, dude. I looked up something last night. I was just reading and researching something, and I was like, wait, you can buy that medicine at the pharmacy? What? Like, they're like, no, this should be given to you by a doctor. I'm like, yeah, but that pharmacy is literally 3 minutes up the road. You shouldn't be able to buy that thing. I was like, it's not expensive enough for someone to not buy it. It's like, it's crazy. But yeah, you're right. You can. And it's not even like, it's a thing that you inject if you have like arthritis in your joints.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, surely that's a thing that you go to a doctor for. And I was just like, I want to Google. I wonder. And they were like, no, it's right up the road, bro. Like, that's 8 minutes walking.
You're good. You're
You're
good.
good. You can just go buy it for like $150. I was like, that is not a thing that should be available to human beings who don't. Like, you should have to get that from a doctor's office. Not here. Go ahead, fuck your life up if you want. That's your problem. That's true freedom, by the way. Freedom to be stupid. So yeah, look, businesses are they got to figure something out here, and your ability to get screwed are not. You're not safe from this. You're not safe.
Hey,
actually,
sorry, but hey, at the same time, like a lot of fucking CEOs wanted this to happen. So best of luck. Hope it all goes well for you. So,
yeah. Shout out to Luigi. Anyway, next story.
I did just want to talk about net neutrality real quick because it's going to come back up in the news. So, a federal appeals court actually struck down net neutrality, the net neutrality rules that were designed by the FCC, and this pretty much kind of kills it from a commission standpoint because the incoming FCC commissioner, Trump's guy Brendan Carr, has no interest in fucking reinstating net neutrality. If this gets appealed up to the Supreme Court, this ruling, which it could, there's no fucking way in hell this current Supreme Court is going to uphold net neutrality standards. So prepare for that to be awesome, as ISPs will be given license to do whatever the fuck they want. In terms of like throttling, raising fees, basically what net neutrality did in a very, very basic sense is it essentially kind of forced the government to be able to regulate ISPs as they would a utility. Not quite in the same way, but that's kind of what they're getting towards. Republicans have never liked it for obvious reasons because their donors don't like it because telecom companies want to be able to do whatever the fuck they want with the internet and gouge people and stuff like that. So, look, best of luck. I hope that your ISP is not a piece of shit and doesn't gouge you, because the only way this is getting fixed is if a law can get passed through Congress, and that ain't happening in the next 4 years at least. So good luck with all that.
Yeah, look, here's a thing that I'm very, very disappointed in the Obama administration for doing, which is having the FCC label the internet as a public service.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Right? Like, that should have been done in his 8 years. Why this has been slow walked for so long? Just declare it as a fucking service and be done. Just period, man. It's like the phone back in the day. There's no reason that this is still a needed debate. I hate the arguments around net neutrality because they are so fucking disingenuous. They're so
the question should just be asked in 2024. Can you be expected to be reasonable, participating member of society and live your best life without the internet?
No.
The answer is no. It needs to be a public utility, just like your lights, just like your gas and electric, just like your fucking water, just like your phone, just like all this other shit.
Yep.
It is insane that we are not at that point yet.
Yep.
with the internet.
Again, I have to ask the question: what does America look like if we make it through this shit? What does it look like? Because that needs to start being a question on everyone's mind, and especially on Democrats' minds, the Democratic Party. Because if you can figure out what it's going to look like, you need to start planning for what you are going to do to move it. Because things like this, when it comes up, if you get the opportunity again to be in charge of the presidency and actually have Congress and shit like that, These are things these are long past the conversation of like, will she, won't she type of shit. Boom, done. We're moving on, right? Like these are arguments that have existed longer than they ever needed to. We already know the answer. It's a fucking public utility. Fucking next question. Like, come on. Like, let's get going. Should weed be legal? No, we don't need to fucking mealy mouth it. Oh, decriminalize. Boom, it's legal. Let's be done. Moving on, right? Like, these are things that we can just do and get done and just stop all the bullshit. Mm-hmm. This is why you need young people, right? You got to just get moving forward. But it really does beg the question, what does the country look like when it's done? Is it in complete and utter shambles? Is the government just wrecked to shit that it can't help people? And if it is,
or the other, I mean, even under regular circumstances, though, like the Republicans fuck stuff up so much that there's so many other more pressing fires to put out that you can't
make progress. You can't make progress.
Yeah.
But that's, and I agree with you fundamentally, obviously, but that's why things like this, these are easy wins. These are actually easy wins. You don't need to bring this up and be like, we need to have a debate, blah, blah, blah. I'd be like, listen, President AOC or whatever. Before I even choose who's going to be head of the FCC, hey, let's sit down. What are your thoughts on the internet being a service or a public utility? Well, I think it needs to be debated. Next. What do you think? Oh, well, I think it needs to be next. What do you think? I think it is a public utility. Cool. So if you were given a position, would you immediately make it a public utility? Absolutely. 100%. Cool. That's what I think too. You're fucking hired. Hey, welcome.
But again, even then, like at this point, like it's clear that the judiciary is not going to let a executive branch commission figure this shit out. Congress just needs to get their shit together and do it. Obviously, it's not going to happen during this Congress. Maybe in 2028 we might have a shot at that. Okay. But again, what else will be on fire? To your point, right? That we need to worry about first,
right? And there are tons of things that are on fire. But again, if I'm in the party and I'm president and I'm like working with the team who's also working with the DCC and everything else, start writing legislation before you get in office.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
There's no reason you're like waiting till day one and like, what's happening, guys? Like, are there fires? Look, going in, you know what the big fires are. But if you already have a run up of all these other 30, 40 fucking things and you come in and you got a Congress, you're like, listen, Hakeem Jeffries, get this shit, get these 30 things on the docket. Let's get these votes done. Let's knock these shit out in the first 100 days. Because you can work on those big fires, but at the same time, you can just like stop, glad hand, like, public utility. We did it. Back to work. Like you don't have to just do one thing and then just let all of these other things slide further down the list. And before you know it, they don't get done. And it's been 16 years and these assholes are going to knock it down again. Get it done. Just get it. Just start writing shit out ahead of time. You got a bunch of nerds. Again, you're the nerds. Okay.
Problem is that this is all the same shit that we were saying back in 2018, 2019, 2020 about safeguarding democracy. Like, yeah, I understand you had a fucking pandemic. Things were really bad. Like, shit was popping off. Yeah, there's still some other shit that needs to get done.
Yeah,
and look what's happened now.
Yeah,
as a result.
Yeah, you got to like
sleep at the wheel.
Yeah, you got to like you need to devise like a strike team, right? You know, it's like like here I'm a giant dork, right? Like the X-Men. The X-Men got the gold team, they got the blue team, right? These are all the faces you know. These are the good guys, right? Your Cyclops, your Beast, your Storm, that sort of thing. Then they have X-Force. That's their strike team, right? The bunch of psychos they send out there to do wet work, okay? Like, you need a strike team inside the Democratic Party that the only thing they're doing is working on and writing legislation to shore up this type of shit, shore up democracy and stuff like that. So when you get back into power, this is your Project 2025. Fucking guys, right? When you get back in power, that shit is already written out. And you're like, we're hammering on the big shit, putting out the big fires, getting the economy rolling. By the way, where are we on the net neutrality thing? We're ready. Fucking get that shit up for a vote. We're working. Get that other shit up for a vote. Boom. And knock those things down. Are they going to make big news? Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. Who cares? But if you lose the presidency in 8 years to the other fucking party, or you lose Congress and everything else, and the Republicans are like, yeah, let's start wrecking shit. And they're like, oh, fuck, net neutrality was already done. Oh, fuck, this other thing's already done. Because they're also not paying attention to jack shit either. Just get shit done and then work on the big stuff. But you need a strike team to be working on those things. Just on those things. That's their goal. And then you have your other team on the front side working on the big shit. Spread it out. Stop just having one team trying to do everything. It's impossible.
I mean, that's. I mean, it's almost as if it'd be great if they had a system where they could have like small groups of a couple of politicians who are like specialized in this, really like a committee of sorts,
like a committee.
That you can put
you can put a couple of 74-year-old esophagus cancer survivors.
Why is it when I Google myself, they're always the bad stories are at the top? Well, you need to fix that.
What happened? Well, let's talk about the internet. What's the internet? Exactly. Get the fuck off of this.
Get out. Yeah.
You need to leave. All right. What's dumber, a brick or a Republican?
We have not one, not two, but three stories for you this week. One for each week since our last episode.
Yeah, and spoiler alert, the answer, Republican. All right, first up, this one
is the
is
most batshit story that I've ever seen in my entire fucking life, by the way.
Go for it.
This is insane. So, unbeknownst to all of us.
Yeah. How did we not know about the story?
Unbeknownst to all of us. There's been a Republican congressperson that's just been missing for 6 months.
6 months.
Where in the world is Representative Kay Granger, one of my favorite kid shows as I was growing up? Rockapella used to sing the theme song for it. Very good. So she represented Texas.
What's her last name?
Granger.
Oh, I was gonna do Carmen San Diego. Anyway, God.
No, you can still do it. Like where in the country is Representative Kay Granger? Like you can do that. It's fine. It's fine. So
we need to Photoshop her with the fucking red hat.
Yeah.
Think about it.
So she's been in Congress since 1997, representing the same district in Texas, and she cast her last vote in like July of last year in Congress, and then she was just gone. And like no one else in Congress, like no one from her state's like representative block, her staff, like no one knew where she was. And so a Dallas reporter was just like, all right, like this woman doesn't, like people don't just fucking disappear. Like we need to fucking figure out.
She's also an active member of Congress.
Yeah, we need to figure out what's going on. So like basically like her office was just like no one was fucking there basically. And so he got a tip from a local Dallas resident that this congressperson was in an assisted living facility specializing in dementia care and had been for literally since that fucking vote happened. There was a he interviewed like the assistant director of the assisted living facility when they were debating like the spending bill that they just barely pushed over the line a couple weeks ago, and to see if like, hey, is she going to come to DC to vote on this? And the assistant director was like, no, this is her home now. Like she lives here at this assisted living facility.
Yo, there isn't a better. There's not a better example of Brad being correct, like more correct than this story. Like this is not like, come on, you can't. She can't be in an assisted living facility.
We literally lost our congressperson. Where did she go? Now, fortunately, she had already announced well in advance of this that she was retiring from the House. So she did not run in this last election. So they actually do have a representative that's not her representing that district now, which is good. But holy shit, man! Like, how the fuck do you lose a congressperson?
But like, what does that say about Republicans? Like, as a party, that they would.
What does it say about Congress? Like, was there no like Democrat being like, hey, where's Kay? Like, I haven't seen her in a while. Like, what's going on?
6 months, dude. 6 fucking months.
That's. I mean, again, like, not that anyone who listens to the show like yells at me about being ageist. I think deep down, all of you listening are and agree with me. But again, shining example. If there were any story that I could point to be like, hey, stop letting old fucking people be in the government. We lost our congressperson to a dementia facility and nobody knew about it. Is like, I literally can't come up with a better example of why this shouldn't be the case.
It sounds absurd. Like, yeah, you know what happened in America? Yeah, they lost a congressperson for 6 months. They found that person in a dementia ward at a nursing home. That's not true. Get out of here. All right, we get it. You don't want old people being like, don't make up crazy stories. Like, no, but that like fucking for real happened. Okay, cool. I sent you a little message. I may or may not have photoshopped something just quickly.
You do great work and very quickly.
So it's not my best work, but it does work for this.
My Facebook Messenger is being ridiculous tonight, so this will hopefully load eventually, and I can't wait to give you kudos for this. So
next up, as I wrote on the docket, other old bat falls down on first day of new Congress. I fucking hate Virginia Fox. I do too. Dude,
like I think in our private chat when you shared the story, I was like, you know, like I think you were like, ah, man, and too bad she didn't fucking stay down. Like, good God.
Yeah, dude. Like, I was like,
she is literally the worst.
She is the fucking worst. 81-year-old Congresswoman was bleeding after an incident where she fell down. Fox, who chairs the House Education Committee, spell it, reportedly fell on a staircase on the GOP side of the Capitol shortly after the House voted to re-elect Mike Johnson as Speaker of the House. That's what you fucking get. The Congresswoman appeared to have a bloody nose. Good. But it's just unknown. It's unknown if she suffered any serious injuries. Yeah, she probably did. And I hope, you know what? Never mind. I'm being an asshole. Fox has been seen walking after the incident and was reportedly being guided by medical attendants at the Capitol Physician's Office. Okay, she did say something. She did tweet something funny. She says, "Thank you to everyone for your prayers. Just a few small cuts, and I'm doing just fine. I'm a mountain woman, and we're tougher than a $2 steak." I was like, all right, that's really good. Listen, she's 81. Get out. Nancy Pelosi broke a hip. Was she in Europe or somewhere? She also fell.
Yeah.
She came to the certification using a walker. You're too fucking old. Like, you're too old. It's time to retire. Go home to your husband in San Francisco. You go home to the mountains or wherever the fuck your ass is from. You dirtbag piece of shit. North Carolina, Virginia Fox. I fucking can't stand her. I fucking hate her face. She looks like what I assume Lauren Loomer will look like at some point. So, she's an old hatchet face too.
This is going to be an old baseball reference, like an old baseball reference. But like when I see her, all I can think of is Marge Schott. If anyone knows who Marge Schott is, you probably don't. She was a former owner of the Cincinnati Reds and was just known for being a bitchy, crotchety, racist piece of shit, essentially. And that's what I think of when I see Virginia Fox.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a woman. A handsome woman. That is a woman. Jesus Christ. She is ugly. Yeah, that's the only word I can use. She's ugly. She's
also very dead now.
So, yeah, no, that's why I'm going in. Look, I mean this in the nicest way. Her face looks like a catcher's mitt. Like
Well, I guess it's apt that she owned a baseball team.
Yeah, but like not a well-oiled one either. Just like really used up. Oh, she's a smoker too. That makes sense. Wow, and even the younger picture, she was just ugly. That's sad.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for
Virginia Fox had a moment a couple months ago where she did like a Mitch McConnell-esque like rebooting while she was giving a speech on the Senate floor.
Good.
Like literally a staffer had to like tell her what to say while she was talking. It was insane.
Why is that happening and people are just like, no, leave this person at work? Like, can you imagine if you went into work?
Why are the voters voting for this person?
They don't know. They don't know because they don't know the story. But it is our job to tell people that Virginia Fox is still alive and she's falling down. Like, she had a bloody nose because she fell up a flight of stairs because she's old. Now, do young people fall up a flight of stairs? Yes, I am proof of that. However, I'm not 81. So, like, that's just is what it is. So, yeah, this is ridiculous. All right. Last but not least, Elon Musk asks if America should liberate the people of Britain and tirade against the United Kingdom government.
So Elon is feeling himself now, right? So like he got involved in the US election. It's working out gangbusters for him so far. Mm-hmm. So he's like, I got to take this show on the road. Like I can influence politics everywhere because I'm the most important person living on planet Earth right now. But I need to just like take a step back, right? Let's take a look at the forest instead of this silly fucking tree. It's kind of a problem that the richest man in human history, who is basically like the de facto chief advisor to the incoming president of the United States.
Yes, unfortunately.
Is putting up Twitter polls being like, should America liberate the British government for the British people? Is this something that we should consider?
Look, I think whatever amount of ketamine he is doing, it has passed the blood-brain barrier and it is effective in very serious ways. I think this dude, I mean, I quite literally think this dude is on a fucking bender. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, like he's calling everybody fucking retarded, accusing the British government of allowing the rape of all these young British girls. Like he's just saying all sorts of wild shit on the internet. Besides just kicking his fucking in, like as a general statement, which would be wonderful to see in HD. I need these governments, these other government officials and stuff like that, just start being like, that's cool. Like, we just don't use your fucking products. Like, we just don't fucking use your products. Like, oh,
you got it. Like, the money, like hitting them in the wallet is the only thing these fucking idiots ever shit. He's also, by the way, like a couple weeks or last week, tweeting out support for the far right, like German, like AFD. Kind of new Nazi party. Yeah,
the AFD party.
Like, hey, like these guys have some shit that we should be listening to. Like, it'd be pretty fucking good.
Yeah, cool.
Changed his name to basically kind of like give a wink and a nod, and by wink and a nod I mean like an overt endorsement of like the whole fucking Kekistan bullshit, basically. Which for people that don't know, like Kekistan is basically like a symbol and a flag like held up by neo-Nazis, essentially, because you can't fly a swastika. So let's do this other not very subtle flag that's basically the same thing.
Yep.
And this is a guy that's going to have a huge amount of fucking influence over what happens in this country for the next 2 to 4 years. Seems bad.
I'm going to tell you right now, there was a New York Times report or something like that, New York Post report. I think it was the Times, where Trump is basically saying like he doesn't like how clingy Musk is. Like this they're kind of like back channeling this shit. When this relationship goes sour, and it is not a matter of if, it is a matter of when. because it's not that he doesn't agree with Musk about a lot of shit.
Yeah, so he's stealing his press.
That's it, right? He's in the spotlight.
He has to fucking hate. He has to hate the jokes that are going around.
Oh, that he's the vice
president. President Musk, like is basically what's happening here. Mm-hmm. You know, he fucking hates it, and he hates it because he did like a rally or something or a speech somewhere. I can't remember where he did it, but he a couple last week he made a joke about I'm not worried about Elon Musk. But did you know he can't be president? Ha ha ha! And just trying to fucking play it off.
Right, guys, I'm still cool. Am I still cool?
Dude, he's again knowing him the way that we know him, after observing him for our entire lives, essentially, that's not going to go well.
No,
that's not going to go well.
If I was Elon Musk, I would, I'd be careful. I'd be careful because you think you can control him, and maybe you can for a little bit, but he's like a fucking wild dog, dude. Like he is. And more importantly, he has an entire sea of sycophants who will turn on you on a fucking dime if he says so. Look, he walked into that middle of that Civil War and was like, easy, big fella, and calmed everything. But he could have very easily stepped in because he didn't support H-1B visas, which is why racist MAGA was like, what are we doing right now? Like, what the fuck?
Right.
If he had stepped into the middle of that and was like, I think these people should get the fuck out of here, and I don't think we should be bringing in more of these people, it would have fucking fractured that fucking movement in half immediately, dude. Immediately. Because the tech bros were like, this guy's a fucking idiot. Blah, blah. I'm like, he was an idiot yesterday. Like, why are you guys just figuring this out? They would have freaked the fuck out. Racist MAGA would have been like, hell yeah, like, that's right. And not that we could ever get those jobs anywhere because our culture is bad. But fuck Indians. And it would have fractured that fucking party immediately. But he didn't. But it doesn't mean that won't happen at some point. Because again, he doesn't like having that limelight taken from him. He doesn't.
Again, you have two guys who both believe in their heart of hearts with absolute certainty that they're the smartest, most important person in the room.
Yeah.
And you cannot long term have two people that share that belief and expect them to coexist. You saw it. People forget this because of what's happened since and how he's gotten in his corner. Trump basically kicked Bannon out of the White House the first time around. People forget that. Mm-hmm. But Bannon was getting a little too big for his britches, a little too out over his skis. And Trump's like, no. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, you're not running this. I'm fucking running this.
Yep.
And he excised Bannon, and they weren't on. I don't believe they were on good terms for a little bit.
Yeah, no, they didn't fuck with each other probably for about a year or so, right? Yeah. Like, and then he slowly, Trump is awesome, and he just basically was like chortling Trump's balls for long enough, and then he eased his way back into the whole MAGA thing. But MAGA turned against Bannon. Right? Like, they were like, no, fuck this dude. Like, this dude's a loser. He's a drunk, blah, blah, blah. And then when he got back in, oh, yeah, welcome back. Right? So they don't actually believe in anything. They just believe in what he says. So I'm very interested to see just how close, as I'm thinking about the episode title, just how close to the sun Icarus is going to fly. And I think Musk is really under this thought process that he's going to be fine. I don't think so. And look, if things turn in a really super dark way, right? Like where we're really in this like dictatorship, authoritarian sort of thing, and not in this like just a really shittily run democracy by a buffoon. If it turns really dark, don't think that you can't be the first against the fucking wall, dude. like you think he won't fucking just rip all your money out of your hands and then fucking get rid of you? He would, 100%, if he thought that he was threatened enough. And that's why people like, here's a prime example of a person who understands what's happening. Today was the first time I saw J.D. Vance. And there's a reason why you haven't seen J.D. Vance in a while. Because J.D. Vance is like, I'm right here. but I'm just far enough out of the fucking
gonna lay low.
That's
so nobody pays attention to old JD.
Right.
So shit goes sideways. None of the stuff's not sticking to me. So.
Right. But he stays out of the way. Peter Thiel stays out of the way. Right. They got a plan, and they can slowly push Trump in the directions they need him to go and do the things and deregulate and all this other shit. But they're not going to jump out front. And this is where Musk, his like social, like mores are fucking terrible, because he doesn't realize, bro, you're like on a road driving next to a cop, and you're just, well, it's okay, I'm driving the speed limit, and you're just passing them, and you're just speeding them, and you're passing them, and you're like, everyone else is driving behind you, like, what are you doing? He's going to turn the lights on, and eventually he's going to turn the lights on, and you're like, oh, fuck, I didn't pay attention. And then you're fucked. And that's where he is. He's riding too high. He's just riding too high, and he doesn't see it. Because he doesn't have the social fucking awareness. Because he's a fucking weird dude. Like, he is kind of a weird guy, right? So, for whatever reasons. And I don't just mean like because he's like, I think he has like Asperger's or something like that. But like, that's a bit of it, right? Like, he doesn't really understand like sort of the social things, which is why he thinks it's okay as an adult man to call other men retarded. Like, you can't get punched in the fucking mouth. Like, okay, bro, like, just keep going, right? But I'm really rich. Rich niggas get hit too.
Yeah, let's say you may be rich, but you ain't the president.
Yeah, you're not. And again, you're speeding past that car, dude, and everybody else is going, that guy's about to get pulled over. And everyone else.
And again, by the way, doesn't have to be Trump himself that decides to do something bad specifically. Trump can just go, oh shit, won't somebody please rid me of this meddlesome priest? And then all of a sudden you got, Luigi Republican coming out and being like, yeah, like boss said, let's fucking take care of this.
That's what I read. Yeah. I mean, look, it ain't happenstance, and I'll go to my grave saying this. It ain't happenstance that this kid's hanging on him like shit. Like since Luigi killed that CEO, Elon Musk refuses to go outside without his human armor that is his son, little long division or whatever the fuck his name is, right? So, but it's not happening.
Zork.
Like, what is wrong with you and Grimes? Get the fuck out of here. Both of you are weird. But that's on purpose. He's trying to protect himself. Like, he thinks that, like, we don't notice. Like, bro, we definitely noticed. It's weird. Oh, he just loves hanging on me. No, you're like, no, you're doing that. So, like, you can't shoot me. I've got a child. Like, somebody's like, shoot you in the leg. That kid will be fine. That kid will run. You'll be by yourself. So, yeah, I'm just, you're flying too close to the sun, dude. Look, yep. I'm not here to warn you. I want you to fly into the sun. I want you to burn the fuck up. Like, I want your wings to
melt those wax wings.
Yeah, I want it to happen because it's going to be fucking hilarious. But I think because you're so rich and powerful, and now coupled with governmental power, you think that you're invincible. But there's a person above you, and he's a jealous prick. So, best of luck. Can't wait for that story. Elon Musk is like ... Whatever comes next should be fun. Like, because you're gonna get fucked. You are. All right. Any last words before we get out of here? This is a long show.
No. Happy to be back. Not happy to see what's gonna unfold, but we'll be here to fucking talk about it. And look, if you need any bit of hope, I will give you this hope. WWE announced today that they were entering into like a big sponsorship deal with Hulk Hogan for his dumb beer company. As I tweeted to Jay and Andy, elections have consequences. like that's what fucking happened here.
Yep.
But and they brought it back for like the big premiere of Raw debuting on Netflix tonight.
Yeah. And
they brought him out. And after the initial cheer for, hearing the Real American theme song, because everyone pops for that, even though Hulk Hogan's a fucking giant prick, the song fucking rips. We can all acknowledge that.
Yes.
Apparently they booed the shit out of him in the arena. So not all hope is lost.
All right.
I'll tell you.
Look, America's a lot of things, but the true America, it's in the stands of those wrestling events. Okay, that's real America right there. Look, liberals, conservatives, yeah, it takes all kinds, okay? We all love
That's right. They all the spectators at the Inuit Dome said, you know what? We will fight for the rights of every man because you will not Hulk Hogan.
That's right. God, Hulk Hogan. What an asshole. What just he turned out to be. And just to think, I started my venture into weightlifting as a small, scrawny young kid with a Hulk Hogan workout set. What a bunch of bullshit. I could never be more disappointed my parents were buying that. It was awesome at the time. And very heavy for me because my arms were little. Jesus Christ, what is this, 8 pounds? My God. All right, that's it for us. We will be back next week for another episode. Later, guys.
See ya.